get a not side angle on the back fat? Can I get something?
See, I be in my little corner.
Welcome to the New Haven Independent WNHH
Help them, Lord.
local election coverage. And we are live,
already
ladies.
drinking.
We're live.
And eating election night
Hey,
pizza.
everybody. I'm Babs Rose-Ivy, Michelle Turner, Markeisha Ricks. We're eating pizza, drinking wine, and about to talk some ish. It's primary day. Y'all got about 20 minutes to vote. If you haven't voted, the polls are open till 8 o'clock. Go cast your ballot.
And there doesn't appear to be any lines.
I think we need to have Beyonce concerts at every ward. Can we get her? Like, what would that
They're
cost?
a lot.
Okay.
Money, we definitely, Yale didn't give us that much money.
Or somebody. Maybe Big Daddy K. I mean, he's familiar with New
But
Orleans.
even-
I mean, it's 50 years of hip hop. Something's going on with your mic.
It's
Is
the
that my
headphones.
mic? Oh.
There's headphones, right, Harry? Do we need to have our headphones on?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Harry, I got too many earrings to have on headphones.
Let's see if that
Oh,
works.
oh.
That's like worse.
That's even worse.
What is happening?
Are they turned
They're
down?
used to us not being in here.
Yeah,
It's the Russians.
right? Again.
Maybe you shouldn't wear the headphones. I don't know.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, because you could hear it in the studio. So, I mean,
Oh, you can hear
Yeah.
can you hear me
Okay.
now? Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me
hear
now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I hear you in these, and I
I
don't have
apologize
them
to
on.
all the people who are getting any
Yes,
food
sorry
sounds.
about
I'm
those.
Or
sorry.
you can turn it down a little bit. 'Cause it's
WNHH
loud.
LP 103.5 FM. Your home for community radio. There you go.
But you know, New Haven has even been slow. They've been slow at a lot of different things. Like, for instance, concert tickets.
Mm.
You know, or
Last
if
minute
you're
buy
having an
concert
event,
tickets.
they always come at the last minute.
And you know, I used to think that was just like, I was like, don't be like that. But I think
Very
that is a
Connecticut.
New Haven thing.
It is. It is.
I think it's a Connecticut thing. I was so I follow Kev on stage.
Yeah.
And he had a comedy set in Hartford. And he
Yes.
said they bought them tickets way last minute. He was like, I can't come back to Connecticut.
Well, that was the same thing J. Anthony Brown said.
Mm-hmm.
He said that a long time ago. He came here and he basically cussed us out. Put on a good show, but then cussed us out at the very end.
Because
Like,
that'll make people cancel their show.
right.
or not come back.
Or not, yeah.
So same idea with, unfortunately, voting in primaries.
And ain't no
What we
giggles.
gotta do though? What can we do?
I don't know. I think people, because it's always the same kind of conversation. Pretty much every election, except for like, it's a major candidate, it's a presidential election. People are really excited about the candidates, be they Obama or Trump. But I think if you look at the voting numbers, less than half of Americans vote, and so people feel like, I vote, but nothing happens. Well, no, because you voted, but the other 11 of your friends didn't vote. And so there's just not a mass kind of, I think we almost would have to put on like a fair. Everybody gets a day off.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's a
And make
national
it
holiday,
fun.
and you cook out. It's like an
Throw
old
a-
school
throw a
barbecue,
cookout.
homecoming kind of vibe.
Yeah. I think
Every
we'd have to make
ward.
it fun.
But I
It's not
think-
fun for people.
But I think too, part of it is y'all don't tell people early enough. Like, I had people walking in my neighborhood
like, it was
the
election
past
day.
2 weeks saying, primaries. And I'm like, but how come y'all weren't here in August instead of being here 2 weeks before the primary?
I don't know.
And in some neighborhoods, there were no people walking around saying,
I
hey,
had a lot
who
of
you gonna
people
vote
in my
for?
neighborhood
I
they
did
was
too.
they was papering up my door. I was like, if they don't stop with this,
It's like, this is just more stuff I got to put in the trash.
But could it be that because we live in all black neighborhoods, people push the turnout there and
Well,
not
what we gotta do,
necessarily
though?
other places?
Do we need to have a bar and a whole thing? Like what?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, I will say in
Ooh.
Westville, I always felt like my polling place was like one of the more fun, fancy places because people would put on a bake sale.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be somebody who would do massage. Like, they don't do that anymore post-COVID. Like, I think the bake sales still happen, but it's not popping the way it used to. So I think there's also some post-pandemic, like, I think people are exhausted.
That could be true.
I feel like people are really tired. They were already tired before, but they're tired. They may not be interested in the candidates, or like, I was like, this is the weirdest kind of Mortal Kombat. It's giving pick your white boy. And honestly, we just had the New Haven road race. I was like, could they just duke it out there? Like they just run and whoever wins is the next mayor. I would have watched that. That would have been interesting. They're both very fitness guys.
Yeah, they got some fitness.
Yeah, I was like, let's
Well,
let
when
the fit white guys duke it out like that. Or it could have been a bike race, like cause closer to what is it called? Closer, it's the big bike ride that they do for
Closer
cancer.
to Free.
Closer to Free. They could have rode bikes. It could have been interesting, but instead it's this.
But it is the marketing. It is how it's marketed, like everything else these days.
And then
It's
everybody
marketing.
can't participate in the primary.
See, I think I you know what? This is what I think. If we could somehow tie like some kind of ticket, like you go vote
it could be like a lottery.
and you get a ticket
get,
to a concert or a show.
You get
like,
entered into a
like
Beyonce
you can't,
to
you
win
can't
Beyonce
get into
tickets.
the Jay-Z Beyonce concert
Unless you vote.
voted.
Well, why can't we do something local? Have somebody.
No, that's what I mean.
Have a
local.
local band out there performing, or have DJs at the places.
I know, but it's got to be a big enough. Who's
that
a
like-
big enough DJ to get people?
If it ain't Kid Capri, what are we doing?
well,
I mean, we got good. Listen, we
we
got
do.
some
we
great,
have some really great
great
DJs, here.
DJs,
No,
but-
no doubt.
But you know those
Juan
celebrity, them
Juan
celebrity
Kuhn,
DJs.
you want a celebrity Kid Capri?
Oh, but it would be dope to have like a DJ in every like
Right.
ward.
I thought
Yeah.
they
And
kind
there'd
of
be, like,
tried
parties.
That. Like,
They did it with the Obama.
Oh, it could be election day party.
Yes.
That'd be fire.
That's what
That'd
they
be
did,
fire.
but that's when folks started
But people still gotta go to work.
complaining. Well,
Yeah.
you know, remember now in Georgia, not only were they handing out water, but they had DJs, and they shut
passed
them
a
down.
whole law. It's like you
Right.
can't give the people them
you will
water.
not have any water.
It's like,
you
it's
minions!
Georgia.
You-
Like, why we gotta pretend we voting at the plantation? What is happening?
You are going to act as though reenact your ancestors.
Gosh.
We-
Oh, like, well, listen, people were feeling very much like they had walked from, Selma to Montgomery to vote. Jesus.
I don't know. I don't know what it'll take.
I think we need
What's up?
early voting.
Oh,
she's here
it's
already?
Is she on?
Christine. Are they calling races?
hey,
What's
Christine.
going on,
So I met Christine Stewart for the first time at the International Festival of Arts and Ideas
Uh-huh.
Gala.
You.
I was so fangirling her.
Oh, she's
stop.
fangirl worthy.
I talked to her like when we first started doing this show.
Yeah.
But no, I
Yeah.
talked to her when I asked
Prior?
her if I could run stuff in the inner city, and she was like, "Sure."
Nah,
No,
she's super
Yeah.
fangirl worthy.
But
Yeah.
she is so. It was so much fun.
Well, we had fun with her last year, so it's
Oh,
good
yeah.
that she's back this year.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
Hey,
she
Christine
just
Stewart.
dropped off, so I'll let her know
Hello.
Oh, there she is.
Oh.
Oh, we
there
can
she
hear her
goes.
on the.
We can hear in the heads.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Christine.
I see
Can we
her.
put heads on?
I thought her picture might pop up.
Is she around?
I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
she's here.
All right, so Christine Stewart from Connecticut News Junkie, and I don't mean crack.
Although some people see politics as crack
And news.
politicians as
And news.
crackheads.
Ooh. Well, I mean, some of them were
That is
crackheads
true.
down in
Yes.
DC, so.
All right, what's the good word, Christine? What you got your eyes on the state? Tell us what's happening. What's on and popping?
Okay, so here in Hartford, we've got a three-way
y'all got
primary.
an exciting
Oh,
race
yeah.
in
I have a
Hartford.
real
Yeah, it's an exciting race, but turnout was 7.5% around 5 p.m.
Oh,
So
God.
How many voters are in Hartford? Please don't tell me 800,000.
there. Okay, so the Democratic primary in Hartford is the election, right?
Yeah.
So, there's about 32,000 Democrats in the city, and so at 7.5%, only about 2,000 had turned
Oh
out
my
by
gosh,
5
that's
o'clock.
not even 10% of
Wow.
voters. This is what I'm talking about.
Right,
You
I'm
need
like,
to have
we're
that
gonna be
party.
lucky if they break double digits, right? And
Hartford,
so it's
you
like
are gonna let less than 10% of the people elect your next
Decide.
mayor? Are you kidding?
America, we might as well posse up to a dictatorship
Girl, we in trouble.
because we don't.
yeah,
know who to
no,
vote.
it's bad.
So what?
It's
so,
bad. So actually, and if you compare Hartford now to Bridgeport,
Oh,
Bridgeport local election officials have already received 4,300 absentee ballots.
What?
wait,
Yeah,
what is
so that's a lot.
girl? So is it favoring Ganem? Like, because Ganem is running against.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ganem is running against Marilyn Moore and John Gomes, and
Yeah, okay.
you know,
John Gomes,
in
yeah.
in 2019, when Moore ran against Ganim, she beat him on the machines,
Right.
but he had
Mm.
3 times as many mail-in ballots.
What is that? What is that? Like,
So,
Somebody
and there's
might have
no
led
there's
some
no
voter
same
fraud.
day voter registration for a municipal election. So, if you missed your chance to register before 12 o'clock yesterday, you don't get to vote today.
oh.
And independent voters don't get to vote, period.
Right.
I know, because I took my
Party
daughter and I
primary
forgot
days.
she was an independent.
Yeah, you can't
And me
participate in the
too.
primary.
I am one as well.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
unfair. I think they really need to change that. Like,
And that's what I was
it's just-
thinking. I'm like, I wonder, even in this town, do independents really understand that a lot of elections are decided in the primaries and they are absolutely missing their opportunity to weigh in on these really important elections?
Well, as a
That's my thing.
journalist, when I lived in Hartford, knowing this, that the
Mhm.
primary was the election, but you want to be unbiased and
Exactly.
objective, and you
Mhm.
don't want to register with a party, but that means then that you don't really
get
have
to
a
vote.
voice.
That's
Right.
absolutely
Yeah.
the truth. And I did the same when I was in journalism. Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's so hard. It's just, and then in Connecticut's smallest town, I wonder if I have the latest figures. So Derby has a Republican primary
Mhm.
for mayor.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the
No
guy
screaming.
that?
Yes. The guy who went to the Capitol. Yeah. The guy who went to,
Yes.
They have a whole insurrectionist running.
Yes.
yes.
And he was.
They have the
he
insurrectionists
didn't-
running against
he
the
didn't
Republican
pull
mayor.
out.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
No.
He-
Mm-mm.
Does he have a shot, Christine?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does, because there was so much angst regarding the current mayor, who is a Republican.
Mm.
What was so turnout in Derby as of 6 p.m. was 27%.
Wow.
Ooh.
So, but that's only 1,263 voters.
Do you know how many people are
It's-
registered there?
the population of the town is 12,000.
Oh.
How many people are registered?
Oh
my goodness.
Somebody
These are
could ride in as
Republicans.
a Democrat and take that whole little town.
Listen.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
have mercy.
That-
And he's also the GOP chair. Correct?
He is the GOP chair of the town committee in Derby. Yes,
And
that's
so
true.
what has the town committee said? Are they like just standing beside him?
The town committee, they were all upset at the current Republican mayor. So,
So they're like,
that's
we'll take
why-
the insurrectionists?
I guess that was
Wait,
that was
what,
the-
Christine?
I
So
know.
what did the sitting mayor do? Like, did he kill babies? Like, what is happening? Because I'm trying to understand.
what's happening in Derby?
How did they choose an insurrectionist over somebody they just
Like-
mad at?
Like there wasn't a Klan member? Like that wasn't an option? Like oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the first local Republican primary since the Valley launched.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well,
the Valley
I am
launched in
tired of these
2009.
Republicans whining about why can't the Republicans. I don't know. I get the sense that they keep whining about
my ears.
why is everything is a Democrats only, but I was like, that's not on the Democrats to fill up for Republicans. Y'all,
Right. Y'all gotta go get some voters.
Y'all got to get
some people
people.
who support what
I
you
don't think
do.
that's our job to
That's
help
not
y'all.
how party politics work at all. It's like it's
Yeah,
not
well,
the
I know there's
Democrats'
no-
problem.
there's no
Nobody
more
wants to
party
be a
bosses,
Republican.
right?
Right.
That's how that works.
I would say that in Bridgeport is the only place with really like a strong,
Republican.
Republican, Bridgeport, the
Base.
strong party boss type of.
Okay.
Are they
um,
running a Republican though? Do they got
No,
some?
I mean, I'm sure they are in the
In the general.
November
Oh,
election,
okay.
but
Mhm.
they're not going to win. So, I mean,
Mm.
the primary is in Bridgeport too. The primary is the election, right? But both Ganim and Gomes have qualified for the November ballot.
Wow.
So-
And not
No
Marilyn
matter
Moore.
So they're
what
gonna keep
happens.
fighting it through the general. So what do you
Yeah,
think is
they're
gonna
gonna keep
happen with
fighting through
these
the general.
absentee ballots? Because they have come into question, right?
Well, I mean, the absentee ballots in Bridgeport are always questionable.
That's my hometown.
I don't know what to make of this.
I just can't
just is what it is.
believe
That's insane.
that they
Oh,
would
wow.
not question that.
No, they definitely questioning it.
Are
They
we reading
have
questions
to.
from the Facebook crowd?
Is Harry doing that, or are we doing
Or
that?
are we doing that?
I think you can do it.
Alexander Tubbs. So if the insurrectionist wins the primary, then Stephanie Thomas will have a decision to make about ballot eligibility for him before even
is true.
reaching the issue of Trump.
Mm.
Whoever
Yeah,
wins the
that is true.
primary
So
will win the election in Bridgeport. It's a Democratic town. But they can't have, he's going to get hauled off to jail. So
Well, so that's the question.
Again?
So we wrote a story earlier this week about the Secretary of State's office right now is deciding whether Trump can even be on Connecticut's ballot in
Mhm.
2024.
That's right. I've seen that story.
Mm.
So she hasn't made a decision yet. So I guess the same decision would have to be made about this guy too.
Oh my goodness.
wow. Well, will they march on her? Like, we have our own little mini insurrection? Like, what's happening?
Listen, look at Connecticut
Well,
about to make national
apparently, so
news.
she said today- so it was actually the New Haven alderman, is it Maceo? Troy Streeter.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Alex Tubbs were the ones who brought the
Oh, yep.
complaint, but she
And
says
Alex is in the
that
comments.
she has not received a complaint about this yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So whatever letter that Streeter and Tubbs wrote has not been received by Stephanie Thomas.
Oh.
So
Okay.
if you're listening, gentlemen, she has not received your complaint yet.
Yeah, you need to check with the United States Postal Service.
Hey, Robert McCormick, we see you too. Same for New Haven. Woo, that's some. I thought that guy, because I saw the press conference
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know what he did.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, what is happening?
Nah.
And his attorney's like, he feels really bad. And I was like, what happened?
Because he wasn't exactly saying it.
And then people put in the comments, he was a January 6th. I was like, bruh,
Yeah.
why are you with these?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he is.
And that was
the
before
GOP.
he was on the council, or before he was the chair. Before he was the chair, I think, of
Well,
the party
listen,
in Derby.
if y'all let him get elected, this is on y'all completely.
Oh my God, Christine, that's terrible. And he didn't even he didn't have the good sense or the honor to step down or resign or anything. He's just like, I'm gonna ride this to the end.
But you know what? Like, given the upset of norms when it comes to political life these days, like I think we have opened a Pandora's box of things where people are going to be out of their bag when they run for office.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
if you
mean,
elect
does,
them, yeah, go ahead, Christine.
does the truth even matter?
No,
doesn't seem
apparently.
so.
Apparently not. I mean, look at the young man who is the congressman out of
Oh,
Queens.
DeSantis.
No.
No, I'm not DeSantis, but Santos.
Yes,
is his name.
Santos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at what he's done, and they still haven't gotten him
And
out
I mean,
of office.
he just literally wakes up lying.
You know,
Oh, I miss the
It's
days when the
just-
scandal would make you resign.
we are far beyond those
We are
days.
You
I
know,
think,
if you had
that-
a chick sitting on your lap, you couldn't be president. Remember that?
Right.
Yep.
And let alone like, oh, if you had, so I just read an article, funny enough, in the Washington Post today. So people are trying to make hay about Scott, who's running in for president.
Oh yeah, because he's got an imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah. And like they're well, we don't know that she's imaginary, but he's like, until I know whether or not I'm going to actually, have a chance at being president, I'm not going to present her to the world. But he just kind of let it slip. But it's been in question, like he is this kind of confirmed bachelor, and he's been able to at least keep his personal life very discreet,
very private.
and that's
Wasn't
really
that
hard
an
to
episode
do.
of The West Wing? I feel like
It probably was. The West Wing calls everything. But they're like, it's really convenient. And I will say, having covered former Congressman Archer Davis, who, when he ran for the governor of Alabama, all of a sudden he had a new wife. And she was a real person. She was out of
Was she pregnant too?
She was not. As far as I know, she still ain't got no babies, but okay.
I'll
But
take
it
that
looks,
deal.
it looks real convenient when, politicians
what can I
start
walk
getting
away with?
married.
What can I get out of this, right?
So, you know.
Well, isn't Ganem on Tinder or something?
Girl,
And he posts, like,
Oh,
I'm
Christine,
sorry.
that just made me throw up.
Christine, we
Oh.
only have red wine. We don't have brown liquor.
Yeah, that's definitely a brown
We
conversation.
And
don't.
we need a later night for these
I
election
mean,
comments.
elections after dark would have to
He
be a
is on
thing.
Tinder? And what does he
I don't think he's
say?
on Tinder. I think he's on the old.
But he's on
person
a
one.
dating app.
He's on the what?
He's like on the old person one.
Oh,
Is he on silver sneakers? What is he on?
What is it, elite or something?
Hang on. I gotta find this here.
oh my
Um,
God. I'm shutting down
The
all my
old-
apps.
the
'Cause I'll
old
be
people
damned
one.
if he come up in my
If
matches.
you match with Mayor Ganem, you better tell on. You better,
Okay.
as a woman who always goes on the date, you better go on that
Girl,
date.
I wouldn't even know how to.
You better go. Wear
I
your
would just
finest
go
wig.
just to be like, why
Where-
are you on here?
Where no. I need you to go incognito. I need you to wear your finest wig. I know you got one. We're gonna get
And
Winter
have
to do your
questions.
makeup, and you're gonna wear a wire.
and have questions.
Plenty of questions. You be like, can you speak into my cleavage? I need tea.
Get closer.
I need tea. Like, come
my
sit
God.
by me.
Christine, how do
Any
you know
tea.
that? Did it come out in the press?
I think maybe it was Daily Ructions. Maybe it was Kevin
That is
Runnings.
stressing me out.
That is. Well, I mean, he's
He's a
not
single
married.
man.
He's a single man. He's got a
Right now he's
job.
single.
He's got a job.
Does he doesn't have
does
a
he
law
have kids?
license.
You know, he doesn't have a
But
law
no.
license. I think he has
Maybe.
kids.
I don't know. I thought they took his law license.
Yeah, no,
he
they took
couldn't
it.
get it
No,
back.
they couldn't get it
take his
back.
law
Right.
license. He doesn't
I
have
think
his law
every year
license.
he
can't
marches
get it
up
back.
there.
Yeah, and they say
And they're like,
no.
no. You're like, you can run the city of Bridgeport, but you can't practice law.
Exactly.
Which
Which is why they probably have all of those absentee ballots.
Well, he's like, well, I might as well,
Yeah.
try my hand at this dating stuff.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm not mad
Yeah,
at
where
him.
did I read that? Oh,
Oh, that's
I'm
hilarious.
trying to find it. I can't find it.
That's all right. You know what? Maybe that's a good thing. Because all
Somebody
the single
had
ladies,
posted
all
the
the single
photo.
ladies.
All right, 1 minute until the polls close.
Oh, we got 1 minute to the poll close. So do you have any, Christine? Do you think there'll be any upsets? Like, is anybody gonna go home crying? Like, what should we be
Everybody-
looking for?
The loser always goes home crying.
Yeah, but they're losers, and then you ain't have a chance.
yeah, there are
kinda
people who
loser.
definitely like you were just doing stuff.
Or you have losers who
Like
refuse
Tom
to
Goldenberg
lose,
isn't gonna-
right?
Wait, Tom Goldenberg brought.
But I mean, he's already the Republican
ex-mayor of
nominee,
Philly.
but-
I was looking at this. I was trying to make the court. I was like, what is that about? Like, why would you?
Bring
I was
the
trying to
ex-mayor of
understand the
Philly?
ex-mayor of Philly, who is a Democrat, by the way.
Yes, he is.
I was
And
just
also
right.
has what connection to New Haven?
he came.
Did he go to
here?
Yale?
I don't know. Did he go to
I
Yale?
have
He
no
liked
idea.
the pizza. I don't.
I mean, the pizza's good.
was he here for the pizza?
But I feel
Well,
like
you
people
know-
in Philly would be offended by that. Like,
Yeah. The
even though they're cheesecake, but still.
Goldberg bought fish to something that I attended. They had the four
Like, if you're
candidates
gonna bring
speak.
somebody from Philly, bring the roots.
right.
like
Right.
bring somebody we care about.
We
Okay?
bring, yeah, that we would respect. Right?
Bring Jill Scott. Like,
I don't think.
But
I
I
don't think
thought-
she can get her.
But I thought the fish thing was kind of,
What was was it fried fish?
Yeah.
Was it from Kevin's?
I don't know. But
If
he
it
bought,
wasn't Kevin's or D'Amato's, what are you even doing?
he bought fish to
Did he
this
fry it at the
thing.
house? What
They bought it. They delivered it, and people were eating it. But I was like, ain't nobody voting for you just because you got us fried fish.
girl.
Well, you know what? Thank God he didn't bring fried chicken. That would have been unseemly, but probably better. but-
What was Linda
Probably
McMahon
better.
paying people like $250 for the most part, like to stand at the polls and to vote for her?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Look at
there
what-
was a
what
lot
that
of
was
going on.
Can you
And
do
she
that, Christine?
And she lost.
She did that.
She lost.
Yeah, she did that a few years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And was
Lieberman was paying people handsomely too when Lieberman won the race against Lamont.
Oh,
Ooh.
you know, he started this other party. What is it called? The it's a party. I'm not a party.
No
What is it?
labels.
No labels.
No
labels
labels party.
No labels party.
So basically, he's the great value of his party's the great value of, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a store brand.
But I just, it's perplexing.
You know when you was a kid and you get welfare,
He was like, I don't
and the
like
boxes
this
was
kind.
like white,
I want-
Yeah,
and
with
just
the black
letters
print, right?
across.
He's like, I want
U.S.
Wonder
government,
Bread.
U.S. government,
What is
FDA,
Even though that government cheese was
government
hitting.
cheese makes very good scrambled
Best.
eggs.
also
Okay.
grilled cheese.
Yes.
All right. So no,
Oh,
so you
Christine.
don't foresee any upsets tonight. You think it's gonna go how it's
I
going?
really don't. And does it even matter? I mean, local elections are local elections, and they're
Mhm.
all like, there's nothing we're going to take away from this that says anything about what's going to happen in 2024. Not even after
Mm.
November are we going to be able to say, oh yeah, because this happened and this local
And this
race
is a
that
predictor.
It's going to
It's gonna
go.
have
Yeah.
no bearing. That's correct.
Yeah, no bearing at all. I
Well,
mean,
you know
local
what?
elections are-
Is that the reason why people don't come out? Because they really feel like this does not have any bearing?
But those are the issues that they care about
Exactly,
the
that are
most. They
actually going
care
to
about
have
the
a
school
noticeable impact on their
budget.
life.
They care about
Yeah.
their trash pickup.
Yeah.
They care about their taxes.
These
It
raggedy
has the
roads and
biggest
sidewalks.
impact. The biggest impact on them, and they decide to sit it out. It's baffling.
I know. I on my show every day, up into this election, I was like, 8,000, less than 8,000 people decide the mayor in this town.
Exactly.
Which is
And then for the next however many years, those same people who didn't
Right.
come vote are gonna say, well, it doesn't. Y'all went and voted, and you see what happened. What if a few more of y'all had come with us? Maybe something different might have happened.
yeah, because they're stuck in this piece of my vote doesn't matter.
But if
And
if
it
you don't
does.
vote, like and not voting is also a vote, right? Like you were
Right.
saying, you are comfortable with
Yeah,
the
that's a
status quo, and however things are gonna run is how they're gonna run. But it's hard to have influence when you don't have any enfranchisement, like, and you don't exercise your power.
I'm with
That's
that.
true.
You're just abdicating
I agree.
that power.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're just letting some other people make a decision about your everyday practical life.
And I don't know, maybe it's like anxiety. People think complaining is also the same as doing something, and it's not. You know how like anxiety tricks your brain to make you think you've done something about the thing that's causing you anxiety instead of actually like that. That's how people treat voting. They're like, I'm not voting. I'm gonna complain. Oh, I'm definitely gonna complain.
Marcy Lynn Jones said fish and grits was good. Alexander Tiva Taubez says mass media doesn't care about local elections either. Only local independent media superstars like y'all.
Yay!
That's
I was
what
like,
we
where
do.
you going? Where you going with this?
So you can send your checks to CT News Junkie and the New Haven Independent, where we support local journalism
All the time.
all the time.
So, Christine, West Haven's got some. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of West Haven. They got so much going on.
Like West Haven is turning into a good old Tammany Hall over there, because wasn't there the
It
legislator who
is.
was convicted from over there and his
Yes,
wife?
the legislator was convicted. They put off his prison sentence because his wife had a baby while she was in prison, and then he had to go
Looking
down
like a
to
blowout
Texas
for Ellicott
to
in early
prison
results.
Oh,
You can look at the
Christine, we
chart.
got some.
get the baby.
And
they didn't
Ward
want the baby to
18
be
was only a
turned.
talking
6
over
vote
Christine.
difference at the polls.
Wait, what?
Paul, come back.
The
Wait,
Sal
Christine.
DeCola Alder race, Sal won by only 6 on the machines.
See,
Although he might have the ABs because that car crash story really moved a lot of people in the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ellicott on the early wards is up like almost 70%. But
Jeez.
we haven't heard from the biggest voting wards where
Which is
Brennan
like-
might close it, but it's looking like a blowout.
Wow.
Although I think Liam put in a good fight.
I think so too.
Yeah,
He
I
raised
think-
some really important issues.
I think he talked about a lot of issues that people wanted a different take on. I think he offered a different take.
Let me
And
tell you how I knew Ellicott was afraid. Because he was afraid.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he lined up all the big wigs. You seen all the muscle, the Democratic muscle that was standing behind him? All of them cats. I was
Listen,
like,
you got to have your ducks in a row. Like that's important, or at
Yeah.
least know, like, make sure nobody's actively campaigning against you from the big crew, right?
Yeah.
But I hope whatever the outcome is, particularly if it does end up going the way it sounds like it's going. I would say to anybody who's a candidate for real, you go lick your wounds, of course. But you have to stay in this fight if you really do actually care about someday unseating an incumbent.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to run, and we know from covering races, from being in campaign school, it's very hard to beat an incumbent, even one that doesn't seem
although I
particularly
have
popular.
done it,
It can be done,
It can
but
be
it
done.
takes
it
some
was
planning.
hard. I mean,
It takes some planning. It takes years of setup. Actually,
was
Well, that's
the
what I was gonna
hard
say.
road.
so not for nothing, when Justin Ellicott was able to unseat Tony Hart, like, she was A, weak, and B, he had been waiting on her.
Yeah.
Jeanette
Okay.
Morrison,
Jeanette
All right.
won.
Well, we-
85%
I
vote.
see. This is an incumbent night. I think. Find
Yeah.
out about my ward.
and she also had a challenger who's fairly new to New Haven, and you know how New Haven is about people who are new to New
Yeah.
Haven.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, that's cute.
And I
Yeah.
think that's not the neighbor, like, because this
No.
person is a Yale person. isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I don't think that's a neighborhood that will work with that.
Yeah.
And also, like, it looked like, at least when the story I saw about him, amassing his signatures, like I was like, you starting at Yale, most of those people aren't eligible to vote here.
Right.
So you need to start deep in the ward where the people who actually are from here and live here are registered to vote, and get those people. And if you can't get those people, those are your voters. And if you cannot reach them,
Punzo.
I wouldn't start
Did
there.
you say Punzo? Punzo. One.
That's
Ward
Ward
17.
17.
Ward 17.
He won. But I agree with you all in regard to trying to unseat an incumbent. And I think it's planning on one hand, and really going and knocking on doors well before.
But you start that well
That's what
before
I'm
you
saying.
ever
well
announce.
Before.
I remember seeing Justin Elliker at lots of places. I hadn't really seen him before.
Listen, I
But
saw
it
him
was
at the
on-
I saw
He was
not
at the
the
Nickel- but he
not
was
the
at-
Nickel- he was at the Elks.
Yep.
Yeah, he
With
was
his
at
whole family. I was
every
like-
place leading up.
Mar-
and that didn't
Marshawn?
start just the year before.
Marshawn.
That's
Marshawn.
Ward 25.
Ward
That's
25.
my ward. So
Oh,
that's
who you were voting for.
That's who I voted for. That's my alder. And he is an incumbent.
Okay.
He is also a Yale Union person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
he
it's
was.
rare. It's super rare for somebody to beat an incumbent the
Yeah.
first time that they try.
I did it.
You are a rare bird indeed.
I did
But
it.
Rare.
I think
You
it
are
is.
rare.
I think it's, and the other piece in that is the incumbent has got to have a whole lot of bitter people.
Yeah,
Or
you
a
gotta piss a whole lot of
percentage.
folk off.
I tell you what
a
else would got on my
percentage of
nerves.
bitter people.
This is what else got on my nerves, and I talked about this on my show already. I thought Shafiq should have thrown his weight behind one of the two of them. I personally thought he should have had a conversation with Liam and said, "Listen,
The brokering doesn't something feels
Yeah.
weird
See,
about
this-
how the
this
lack
is-
of brokering.
that's
in
right.
This,
See, we need a Wendell Harp on the scene.
Well,
Say
I was
whatever you
gonna
want
say-
about him and his foolishness. He got people in the room to talk about
And that's what's
alliances.
that's what we don't have
Chuck
anymore
Allen
in New Haven.
got people in the room.
Right.
Now these cats were questionable at best, but
Right.
but they got people in the room to listen. Let's think about how we could bring this together. What do you want, and how can I incorporate it into what I'm trying to do? See, that needs to
Right.
be the conversation.
Well,
I wish
those are all the backroom conversations that don't exist
Frank,
anymore.
no, the young
Redente.
Mr. Redente.
Okay.
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 So
Those-
But
those
that's a
backroom
Chrissy.
conversations. Those backroom conversations are already happening as people are assuming that Governor Lamont is not running for re-election.
is he not?
Conversations are happening already for who's going to run for governor, and then if they run for governor, who's going to run for their seat.
Oh, listen, we got to get Christine to the
yeah,
board.
yeah.
We got to get all
Christine.
the Christines.
Oh,
you,
we got-
Christine, and Christine operative
Oh,
Christine.
we got to have an after party on the porch about this.
Oh, Christine, I hope you listen. Cigars and stuff.
And some brown liquor.
Some brown.
Some brown.
Because I need tea.
So that's going to be something because,
All
as
kinds of
much as we
folks.
have had a Democratic, Connecticut can always get a Republican governor.
Right.
They can't get Republican nothing else. They can
Right.
get a Republican
Republican
governor.
Yeah, but the two houses, not so much.
That's a so Lamont is like, I'm gonna hang up my
You know
my
what?
So
other
who are some of
Interesting.
Christine? Who are some of the names that are
Girl,
just
what's-
in the
what's
ether?
the names floating?
The names floating are Luke Bronin, who didn't run for mayor of Hartford.
Oh.
No
Um,
wonder.
William Tong, who's our attorney
our
general.
Attorney General.
Uh-huh.
Who?
And
William Tong.
obviously Susan Bisowitz.
Oh.
Oh, Big Susan's gonna make a run.
Well, you know what? I think she's got a shot.
I think she's got a real shot.
I think she's got a shot
Well,
because
she-
it's not unusual for us to have women in place.
I mean, listen, she's
And also, she keeps getting advancing the needle. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
she. Not only that, you see her everywhere.
Oh God, yes.
I do.
She
Yeah,
is
she
I see her in
everywhere.
places I do not expect to.
Yes.
And she'd be in any neighborhood. I'd be like,
Yeah.
girl,
Any
if you don't get
neighborhood.
up out of here.
And we'll
Nah.
talk. Hey, how you doing?
I like
you
your
know?
dress. Yes. Where you get that from? Mhm.
I don't
So
know. What
she
you, what are you
is-
thinking, Christine? Like, will the party embrace the lieutenant governor?
You know, I think See, I don't know how much Lamont has not really used his bully pulpit much
Mhm.
as governor, so I don't know how much his opinion counts in any of it. So I don't know if he could throw his clout behind Susan and make sure that she is the nominee for the party.
Mm-hmm.
And what would it
you know,
say if he didn't?
Oh man,
Right?
He better
Yeah.
do
Right.
it. Oh, I would be so
Yeah.
mad at him if he didn't
That's true.
hype
Because
her.
I feel like when Nancy Wyman was considering, like, or did she actually run for governor or
No.
But she was
No.
considering it. Her name was
No.
on the drum at one
well,
point.
I think she.
But I
I
feel
don't
like-
think
No,
she could
she
overcome
never
the
ran for
shadow of
governor.
Roland.
But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is though that like I feel like Daniel Malloy didn't like be like, nah, girl, not her. Like he didn't try
No,
to dim
he
her
picked
shine.
her.
Yeah, he
He
supported
picked
her, right?
He purposely picked her. He went to Nancy and was like, "This is
Run.
how I'm going to balance out the ticket and win."
Mm.
Because she was comptroller for 16 years before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So well-known
She should-
commodity.
Listen, she should win on shoe game alone.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Her shoe
Well,
game
she was like
tight.
everybody's Jewish grandmother.
Yes.
You know.
That woman had
Bucky.
a tight. She was rocking 3-4 inch heels
Yeah.
before these little young influences.
And look, and would be out and about.
just run it.
I was like,
girl.
I was like, what are you wearing? And she's like, Jessica Simpson. I'm like, oh,
And you know, Jessica don't make a heel.
Yeah,
I think
she
that's
don't
less
make-
than 3.5
Yeah,
inches.
she is
Shoot.
not that person.
I was like, wow. I hadn't even thought about Lamont not running, but
Me
that's,
either. That's
so now this
tea.
explains
That's
why
juicy.
Luke Bronin is like, I don't want to be Harvard mayor.
He's like,
anymore.
okay, I'm
Bye."
trying to be
Right.
governor.
And,
I wanna
and
be
had
governor.
done it like way in advance, right? It wasn't like last week, like, oh, never mind, I don't want
But
to be good.
again, to
Oh,
that
no,
point,
he
you
is
gotta
the
be ready.
planner.
You gotta be
Yeah,
ready.
he's a
So did he
planner.
do enough in Hartford to make somebody say, "Oh, I want the
I
rest
don't
of the
know
state
about
to look
that.
like Harvard"?
yeah, I don't know about that, but I don't.
Because I don't know.
mean,
Otherwise,
Yeah.
how would you run?
Yeah.
You have to run on some strength.
Right.
What did he do in Hartford that would make anybody outside of Hartford say, "Yeah, I want you to be my governor"?
But I mean, what did Ned
I mean, I
Lamont
guess you
do?
could say he
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of got Hartford out of the debt
true.
crisis problem that they were in.
Oh, okay.
But
But
he
weren't
did
they
that
like on
with
the
state
verge
money.
of like exactly? They were like, "We gonna file for bankruptcy. Y'all gonna give us some money."
right? So the city didn't go bankrupt on his watch. And I guess it could have.
But like, I feel like
But
that needs an
isn't-
asterisk.
But isn't that a small thing that a mayor should do?
Like, that's
keep the city
literally
out
your
of
job.
bankruptcy.
Keep
You
the
want to keep the
city
city solvent.
Yeah.
That is your
Like,
job.
Isn't that the most basic, fundamental?
And also, if the state had been like, nah, but he knew it'd be a bad look for the state capital to
Right.
like because it was gonna affect the state's credit rating. So
Right.
like they couldn't even. He
couldn't
knew
play
they
with
had.
that.
He knew that they were gonna back him.
Yeah.
I
he
don't know
couldn't
how
play with
I
that.
think
It's
about
like,
him as
what else
governor.
is he gonna do?
Exactly.
I mean, what? I mean,
I mean, he could go
he
home.
was the governor of legal counsel before running for mayor.
Yeah,
Go home.
yeah.
Who else you hearing? Who else you hearing? And
Yeah,
any,
and who would be on that ticket?
That was
Any
it. I mean,
black
that was
people,
like the
Christine?
three.
Where are the black and
What?
Latino
that's
people?
what I was like, that's the question I
next
had.
question.
No.
Oh,
No, haven't heard that. I'm
Just
hold
straight
on,
up.
hold on.
Ooh.
Asian, Tong being Asian, so that I'm.
That's
hearing.
not black.
That's not black. I know, but it's minority. There's. I don't think there's ever been an Asian governor.
No.
No,
not that I
in
know
Connecticut.
of.
No. Okay.
No.
But who
So-
knows? It may be
Well,
a
and
little
then Sean
early.
But
Actually,
also,
you know what?
has William Tong's profile as Attorney General raised enough for him to make a credible
run? Yeah.
I don't know. And then, I'm also hearing that Sean Wooden, the former state treasurer,
Playboy
is a-
Sean Wooden.
Ouch!
I mean Playboy like man around
But
town.
like jet set,
Like
yeah.
jet set.
Yeah.
Like
Too
not,
late.
not like women, but jet set. Yay! My older one, Mayberry Nye Black.
Oh.
Yeah, high
Yeah.
five.
You were pretty
No.
excited about her.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's got so
You
much
felt like
energy.
she got like energy.
Girl, I thought, Lord have mercy. She could
It's like,
be-
girl, I'm gonna vote for you so you can get off my porch.
I swear to God.
It's like, girl, I'm gonna vote. Go ahead.
Like, yeah,
Leave me
you got
alone. I'm
You
trying
got
to relax.
But now, if
Does Sean Wooden want to be governor?
yeah,
He
that's
didn't want to
what-
be treasurer anymore.
right. So
I mean,
Like,
he's-
Is it something happening in his family? Are the kids more grown? Because that's what the.
no.
Because wasn't that the whole resignation?
Yeah, he
I
was
got,
like, I gotta spend time with
I
my
gotta
kids.
spend time
They're
with
growing
my
up too
kids.
fast.
I'm the
I guess he
carpool
said they
dad.
grown. I gotta go now.
But are they grown? Like where?
He's
No.
like, they grown now. I'm
And-
ready.
How much grown? I mean, it's like 2 years
It's
ago.
2
like,
years
what?
ago. Somebody might be a senior in high school.
All right.
You know.
I like him. I see him on the vineyard every year.
Listen,
Yeah,
I think
shout out to Jazz in the Vineyard.
I think he's a good person to
It sounds
possibly
like
run.
it sounds like he's as good as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not, right?
I don't know. Ask his previous staff. Let's get their.
Ooh,
I'm
that's
just
true.
saying. Ask them.
That's true.
That's fair.
'Cause
That's fair.
We see that all the time, right? They usually tell the truth.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
Like get Christine on. Get
That's
the other
we
Christine on.
gotta get the
oh yeah,
Christines.
I gotta ask because
Yeah.
because there's gonna be some seats that's gonna be open, right? Like somebody. What's up, Paul? He's got some words.
So the big, everything's in except for
That's-
Sal DeCola and the Cove. He won by 6 votes on the machines, and there are 15 ABs, absentee ballots.
Oh wow.
Usually, Unite here is working for him. They're usually better getting the ballots, but the big blowout was Fairhaven. It was more than 2-1. Ernie Santiago, the incumbent, got only 100 votes.
Wow.
And that
So
with
that
all
is
the
the
all the
upset.
Latino
That is the
leadership of the
upset.
city was working for Ernie Santiago. Unite here, that was their number 1 race.
Really?
Was Ernie Santiago
And he lost.
by more than 2-1.
But he lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was basically
Who
Sarah.
who is that? Who won?
Redente's a youth worker there.
But that Redente name is entrenched in that
Yeah,
community.
but it really
Right.
was Sarah Miller. So
Okay.
Sarah Miller's trying to build a counterpart to Justin Ellicker. She's a jihad worker. So 12 years ago, Unite Here was the fearsome force that
Right.
electoral politics.
Right.
We saw in the Tony Harp election they couldn't really deliver anymore.
Right, right.
But they're still the only game in town organized. So now they threw everything in 15 of Fairhaven, and they got beat by Sarah Miller and Redente by a lot.
Wow.
So that
only
says something.
only 100 votes when you got the whole city working there.
Yeah.
Sarah
And he's
got
a nice
game.
guy and incumbent.
Okay.
Nobody
Sarah
hated
Miller
him.
got game.
Sal won by 8 votes with the AB counted.
Wow.
Oh, without the AB. He was up by 8 without the AB.
Without
There
the
are
AB,
15
okay.
AB, so it has
But
to be a
that
blowout.
Redente name is long entrenched,
Yeah.
right? Because
In Fairhaven,
they've
yeah.
been working with youth, and them kids has grown up with a Redente in the facilities. And,
Adam
to
Marchand won
Robert
by a
McCarthy.
lot,
Yeah,
more
Adam
25,
won.
more
Yeah.
than 2-1.
Yeah.
Adam Marchand.
Adam Marchand 25 in Westville. And by the way, there were only 7,000 votes citywide on
That's
the machines.
less.
I think that may be as low as PACA race. I'm not sure. So no one turned out, but
That's terrible.
In
It looked
Ward
like nobody was
25,
turning out.
they got under 1,000 votes, and that's the biggest voting one in the ward. The city is often well over 1,000. But Dennis Serfilippi ran a really hard race. It's sort of a up-and-comer kind of gadfly. He got a lot of good issues out. But Adam Marchand has been there 12 years, and people
Right.
like him in the ward.
Yeah.
He did his homework, did his work. And it was a very solid victory for Marchand, but also a very respectable challenge by someone who didn't have a citywide organization. Good issues raised.
Right.
The only ward where they had a debate, and it was very civil and smart.
Yeah.
Good issues. So it was a night for the people you'd think would win, except for the big upset in,
In
Fairhaven.
In Fairhaven.
And very close in the Cove.
I was about to say, do you know what the turnout is in the Cove? Is it
I'll be right back.
pretty low too?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
8,000, man. Yuck. Wait, Christine, what should we do? What's the answer? Obi-Wan
I don't
Kenobi,
know.
help us.
I don't know.
You're the only one, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
How are we gonna save democracy?
So the Cove also, which is one of the highest voting boards,
Yeah.
had only 600 and change votes.
Oh gosh.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, this is.
Oh.
Oh, that's your.
Is that you?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah. It's you.
We don't. Sorry, people, if you're listening to us. I think
This is
it's,
what happens when we're live.
I think it's the Russians.
They don't want us to talk about democracy.
Ward 18 in Morris Cove. Is that on?
Yeah.
Ward 18 in Morris Cove was the closest ward for Liam Brennan, who was a sort of defund the police liberal.
Yeah.
Morris Cove is MAGA,
Very much not a defund.
but they're mad at Justin Ellicker partly because of the Columbus statue and very much because of the Tweed New Haven Airport. Liam
Okay.
Brennan punted on the airport. He didn't really take a stand so he can get those votes. Ellicker, like most incumbent mayors, comes around to be for the airport. So it was kind of interesting vote there. And
How many votes did Liam get?
AFP, not just AP, the Independent also says that Ellicker won. If you go to our homepage, we have every single ward. Okay.
How many votes did Liam get?
Liam only got 30%.
That's not a
That's
bad,
not bad,
you know.
for someone
That's
who's
not a.
it's
He had an organization against the mayor who doesn't have a lot of deep love. He's not a lot of anger at the mayor, but not a lot of deep support.
Do you think? What do you think accounts for that in terms of how?
I think
he resonated with people?
Liam was. People aren't mad at the mayor. People who know the mayor well, the very small percentage of town, would vote him out who work close to him.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people say no crises. He did well in COVID. No scandals.
Yeah. So.
And, we got the
mediocre.
police department, despite the mayor's best efforts, is in good shape now. So, there really was a hard case to make, especially if you're someone who's never even run for alder, let alone mayor. Ran a good campaign, really got on the ballot,
He
which
did
was
run a
hard.
I think he ran a
campaign.
He
good
ran a very good
campaign.
campaign, but he was starting with very, very long odds.
well,
Yeah, absolutely.
that goes back to what we said earlier. There's no one who's bitter at this mayor, right? There's not enough people who are bitter at this mayor to try to get him out of office. You got your small percentage, but it's not enough
Right.
to create a movement to move him out.
Boy, I
But
miss
to
those
your
old
point,
days.
though, like that brokering though might have made a difference.
Right.
I think if Shafiq would have got in the room with him and said, you know what, these are the issues that I care about, beyond the issues that I care
And
about
I was
for
about to say
myself.
they might be too far apart on the police stuff though.
All right. But
But that's the room for compromise,
That's
right?
true.
that's the room.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the
And
room.
that's why you go
get
into
in
the room.
and
Yeah, because
say, "Listen,
I
I'll
wish,
throw my support behind you."
I wish Shafiq had some political savvy and sophistication to
he
sort
also
of
fought
say,
it pretty late, so like I don't
take.
know.
Let me
if-
take who is supporting me into
Yeah.
this room and say, listen. I know the people who are going to vote for me. It might not get you the win, but it might get you higher than 30%.
Right.
So let's have a conversation about what can you say to me that will make me see that you will incorporate some of my policies and platforms into what you're trying to
What
do.
you're trying
right,
to
and
do.
I'll vouch for you.
But
yeah.
I think too, the one thing I can say about Shafiq is that people knew him.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
he really got out there. People knew him. They may not have been familiar with everything on his platform, but they knew some of his issues, what he did want to talk about. And people turned out when they heard that he was a part of any discussion. So he had the marketing.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I think he has. I think he could have brought some votes to the table.
right.
But there's no. But we don't have anybody in town
broker.
that, Michelle. Remember back in the old
Yeah.
days, there was
Art
quite a.
Barberi.
Yeah.
Art Barberi was the man. We all know
Like,
that.
these cats would get around. They would go to you and talk to you and be like, "Come on, let's get in the room.
Right.
Let's meet. Let's
And then
meet
you
it."
you keep getting in that room, right? Like even like as the things start to change, like in a primary election, it's like okay, the chances here might be what they are. Like, how do we bring pressure to bear? So,
Well, because that's what we don't have in Washington. We don't have anybody brokering.
We
in
need a
back
whip.
rooms.
We need a community whip, and I don't know who that could be. We need somebody that could go
It's
to
you,
this-
Babs.
Listen, I'm trying to get my black ass in law school. But there's some people I could identify who could do it. Like Mike Jefferson, if he could just be less Mike Jefferson
You know that ain't gonna happen.
and just like gather people and like get them in the
Yeah.
room and be like, because he would be the one who could have a conversation.
It's funny, the person
Negotiate.
that says we need to do this is like, well, if we could just get somebody else,
Exactly.
not me, but
Not
somebody
me,
else.
but somebody
So
else.
you might have to broker the people that become the brokers, perhaps.
Somebody just
So I don't
said,
think you're gonna get away from brokering.
Chanel Golson. How can we get back to that?
I mean, Chanel, what you doing, girl?
Chanel, you got some time. I know that
You got some
baby.
time. I know
that
you-
baby grown up now, girl. You got some time. Darnell would be a good person too if he could be less Darnell.
Yeah, well,
You know that's not gonna
that
happen
is
either.
neither. That's right.
That's not gonna
And
happen
you just,
either.
none
I
of
need
that.
Darnell to be less Darnell.
No,
and I
no.
can say that because I grew up with Darnell. I love him, his family,
But
my
Honda
whole
could
heart.
do it.
Oh, Honda.
Honda could do it.
Honda's not likable enough. She's not likable enough. We love Honda.
So she had to be less
She's
Honda.
smart.
But she-
She got to be less Honda, right?
She got to be more. She got to be a little more likable. I don't know. I mean, you know how Chuck Allen moved in the world.
yeah.
You know how
Wendell Hart moved in the
Wendell
world.
Hart moved in the world.
Even
And-
though they were dastardly at some points.
well, yeah, they
And you
were.
gotta have if people don't do what you need them to do if you ain't got a little dastard.
Well, that's what I mean. You gotta have a little edge to you.
He's like, either you can take the carrot or you can catch this gun.
And Chanel says she's around.
All right, girl. We gonna put you on the list.
I think that we need some people who could bring all these things together and make some alliances.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what needs to happen. Because there's no way Ellicott should be the mayor. He just shouldn't be the mayor. He just shouldn't be. I don't even. It's not personal. It is a world class city. Needs innovation and world class
Agreed.
direction. And he does not bring that to the table to me, you know. So I don't know. Christine, you still there?
I am. So I'm looking at some results from Bridgeport, and it looks like Gomes is slightly ahead of Ganem.
Whoa,
whoa.
Did you see that
Like, you
comment?
know,
Did you think that?
This is
How much of the vote is
obviously,
in?
this all before absentee ballots are counted. So
Okay,
you know.
there's like
foil.
3 million. How many of the machine votes are in?
Guess
just
that's what you got to go with,
15%.
right?
Yeah, just 15%.
Oh, just
and
15%,
Gomes has
okay.
got
Okay.
56%, and Ganem's got 43%.
Wow,
Mm.
that's a pretty good lead for the moment.
Anything
For
on
the
Hampden?
moment, but
Oh, what's
yeah,
happening in
Hampden.
Hampden?
that's like a difference of like 200 votes.
Yeah.
In Hampden?
So, oh, in
Oh, no, you're
Hampden?
still talking
Oh,
about Bridgeport.
no.
Oh, okay.
I know, I
Hey,
You're talking
Paul.
Bridgeport.
Oh, wait.
What's happening
I
in
got
Hampden?
I got nothing in Hampden. I got
Okay.
nothing in Derby yet. And then we've got there's another GOP primary for mayor in West Haven.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Before
With
Paul came in,
Weinstein.
you was talking about West Haven. Go back and fill us back in on West Haven. That's a crazy
Yeah,
little
so-
place.
It is a crazy little place. So Nancy Rossi is not running for re-election.
Well, 'cause
Correct.
she got beat up too much. She's like, you know
She's
what?
like, I'm out of
I'm
here. She's
done.
like, I don't want to live my life like this.
Mhm.
yeah,
I'm done.
So Dorinda, State Representative Dorinda Boer,
Oh,
got endorsed by the Democratic Party,
Okay.
and she had been mayor of West Haven, I believe,
Or was it? I thought her
I
husband.
thought it was her husband, Richard.
or was it her husband?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
her
it was
husband.
Richard Borer, and he
Yeah.
was there for quite some time.
Okay.
Yeah. It was him that was, yeah. So she's running for mayor against whoever. Barry Lee Cohen was the one who challenged Nancy Rossi last time and came pretty close.
Okay.
Mm.
And there's the
I don't know
lady-
who Paige Weinstein is.
Yeah, she's the Star Tire lady. You know Star Tire?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paige,
The wife.
Paige Weinstein.
Yeah, the wife. She's the co-owner of Star.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. So I've got no results either for Middletown. So you have Ben Florsheim, and he's being challenged
oh, yeah,
by
Ben
Ed Ford
Florsheim
Jr.
used to work for Dick Blumenthal.
Ah, okay.
Murphy.
Oh,
He
Murphy.
worked for Murphy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I knew he worked for a senator at some point.
Right.
And then he was
one
mayor.
of them.
Yeah.
They're
One of them.
interchangeable.
One of them.
What'd you say, Christine?
He said they're
They're
interchangeable.
interchangeable at times.
Listen, sometimes I felt like when he would come to New Haven, he'd be doing double duty. He's like, I'm here for Congress. I'm representing for Congress.
Okay, boy. Whatever.
Well, so West Haven. I want some Hampton intel
Yeah.
because that just
Yeah,
seemed
I've
like
got
a
nothing on
sleepy
Hampton.
race, but contentious.
Yeah, like it
I
got
think it's
little,
contentious.
little tight there at the
Yeah,
end where
toward-
people were
like now.
making certain kinds of accusations and things. Yeah.
I was like, what is going on in Hampden?
Because it
Well, there
seems.
wasn't there like an accusation that the incumbent mayor like had used the town's social media to like promote her. It's like, well, I mean, she's mayor and she's running, but as long as she didn't say vote for me, like she's like, is she using it too much?
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean, I think
that's the advantage of being an
I mean, that's right, and
incumbent.
I think she should be on there saying this is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
That's and she gets a certain level of, and I mean every incumbent politician gets a certain level of like largesse to be like, you know, when you get your from your whoever's currently representing you in the state legislature, you get your little flyer from them every year around election time
The
that says,
franking. yeah,
hey,
franking
look at all the
privileges.
bills I got passed. Look how much money I brought to
Right.
town.
This
It
is what
doesn't
I've
say
done.
vote for me, but it's just a little reminder.
Right.
I did all this great
and
amazing
so
stuff.
is there anybody, because I know I know that in Hartford, the Working Families Party is pretty strong,
Yeah.
and so I know that in Bridgeport, I think Ganem also got the Working Families Party, so he'll definitely be on the ballot in November, no matter
Well, so was
what.
Elliker. He got the endorsement too, and if he
Yeah.
would have
Did he get
lost,
the endorsement?
Yeah,
he,
he
he
did.
would have just forged ahead into November.
Right.
I don't think the Working Families Party went for Funfara or for Coleman. So in Hartford, if Arunin wins, he's
Okay. He's out.
no. If Arunin wins,
He
yeah,
goes to the-
Funfara and Coleman are
okay.
very much out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
There was
let's-
another Democrat who didn't make the ballot in Hartford, Nick LeBron, who is going to be on the November ballot. Yeah.
I kept getting.
I think I had him on my show, Christine. Is he
You
of
did?
Latino descent?
He is.
He-
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Candace Dorman was his campaign manager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came on my show early on. I so enjoyed him. I actually liked him a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, girl. Am I missing something?
Me and Christine had the same reaction. Oh, okay.
I was like,
Like, all right.
She's like, I can't tell you if he gonna win.
Well, he ain't making far, so he didn't make
I
it
kept
far.
getting campaign literature from him, and I'm like,
How you
why,
get your
sir?
address?
I have no
It's like I
connection
cannot
to
vote for
Hartford
you.
whatsoever.
Well, that's how I
like-
felt about Hampton. I was getting all these Hampton calls. and-
That's like, just in case you know somebody.
I know a lot of people.
Exactly. And somebody knows that.
Because there's a brother running in Hampton.
Is he running as a
Yeah, Walter
Republican? though?
Morton.
Yeah,
Walter Morton.
yeah, black guy.
He's on the board of Ed. I don't know who, like party. I have no idea.
I think he's running as a Republican.
Really?
Yikes.
No, he's running.
No?
He's running.
I think he's on the Democratic. Yeah, I think he's
Okay.
primary tonight.
I feel like I saw an article in the New Haven Register that said somebody black was running as a Republican, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I don't think it's Mr. Morton.
Okay.
Because he's on this primary. He's on this primary race. So
Well, how many people? Is it just two people? Just the mayor and?
it's Walter Morton, and it might be one more person, Christine.
I
Am I
don't
wrong?
think so. I thought it was.
Or is it
was
just the
only
two of them?
It's just the two of them, Lauren Garrett and Walter Morton.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody else must not
Hamden.
have qualified.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that
I mean, I
probably
don't know
was
if
the
people
case.
are unhappy with Lauren, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
outside of
she's
the-
not exciting,
No.
Yeah,
but she's another one. Let me just make sure this city,
it
this
stays
town,
even keel.
doesn't go into bankruptcy because
Right.
they had some.
They
the
had
state
some
was looking at them too,
very-
like we're
yeah.
gonna have to take conservatorship because y'all ain't got no money.
right.
Mhm.
There's some very challenging financial issues in Hampton
Absolutely.
over the past couple of years.
Yeah, so she's not exciting or dynamic, but
she's riding the
Sometimes
ship.
you need
she steadied the
steady.
waters,
Yeah,
right?
she's
So,
riding the ship.
It's very
Absolutely.
steady state.
So I
And
don't-
I dare say that's what Mr. Elliker is doing, or at least a lot of people feel he's doing here.
And he's going to be able to get further on the side of the handful of incidents that happen, whether it's the statue in Worcester Square. What else did people kind of the handling of the appointment of the police chief and
Yeah.
the dust up leading to us finally getting Carl as police chief, but that little bit in the middle,
Yeah.
that didn't go well.
Yeah, that didn't.
So like those kinds of missteps, like that's gonna, I think, fall away. But I do, I think, if we get anything from Mayor Elliker that does not just kind of status quo, I'm like, what is your vision for our city? To
I
your
don't
point
think
about
he has no
innovation.
vision.
But I'm like, but now you've been in office long enough to
I
develop
don't think
a vision,
I think his eyes is on something
And
else, and I think he can't see a vision for this city.
which is unfortunate.
It
if
is.
that
Yeah,
is the
because
case.
I think that's
Because
what
to your
New-
point, we are a world class city.
We
I think
are a
we have
world-class
a lot
city,
going for
and
us,
and not only
and
that,
we can do more.
At one point, we were really moving toward innovation, right? Moving toward biotech, moving toward
And we're also
economic development
there. I think
in the
we're
neighborhood
there in those
communities.
things. Exactly.
And we have yet to really see any of that.
No, I think we've seen some of that. I think that
It's
is
the tail
happening.
end of the last administration.
Exactly.
It wasn't
Like
anything
it's
that
fun
Mr.
to
Elliker
ride
had
the
brought
wave
forth.
of like, oh, I don't have to make these big announcements because there are lots of things still coming online from the previous administration's work. So it would be a good time to say, I actually am working with people, and I think that's the other thing that I feel like doesn't feel the same in the city, the kind of collaborative spirit of the previous administration. who's making decisions? Like, it feels like the current administration is making decisions amongst themselves. Like, I don't want to hear from neighborhoods all that much. I don't want y'all marching in front of City Hall. Like, and maybe all the activists are tired. They're like, we went through the pandemic, we tired. But like, it just, that energy that used to prevail in our city and get it done. Oh my gosh, did they take away trash cans? They were like, oh, we're too busy to empty more trash cans, so we're gonna take away the public trash cans. Even Westville gets a little dirty these days. And you're like, what's going on?
Like, what is going on?
Like, what is happening? So
I'm like, do we have enough money to hire more public works people?
I went and got one of those
This
little
is why
pickers.
you vote in local
Come
elections.
on,
Yeah.
Christine.
What were you saying, Christine?
This is why you vote in
This
local
is why
elections.
you vote in local elections.
Yeah.
Trash cans.
Like I actually saw, like, we used to have trash cans in different places. And I'm like, where is the trash can? Because usually the trash can here. I went and actually got one of those little pickers, you know, the things
Yeah.
that help you reach stuff. I was like, just so when I'm out, like, you know, when I'm dog sitting, I can pick up trash because I'm like disturbed at the level of trash that I see.
It's amazing. I've never seen the city look like this.
I know, it's dirty.
The trees are crazy looking.
And I was
I'm
like,
just
ain't
like-
nobody complaining about sidewalks no more because these sidewalks are raggedy.
between the sidewalks and the streets.
Girl, I was
It's
like,
like
if
you
you
will
got a
hurt
car,
yourself.
it probably rattles.
Yeah.
I was like, why is everything so raggedy?
But look, how about the light being out at the boulevard?
I feel like the
Weeks.
I was like, you can't get nobody over here to fix this. Like, what is happening?
Oh, we need to order a part. Hello?
and I remember a time where you know, it felt like we were moving toward a place where I thought we were going to get to a place where city departments were going to be empowered in certain ways. They were trying to think of ways that, like, if we can't hire staff, how can we use, say, technology? So, you know, we were all about see, click, fix and all this other stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I feel like that's kind of tapered off. We're not having those conversations anymore. Like, how do we, like, I saw, I was reading the stories about LCI and how people's beef with LCI. And I'm like, LCI is doing the best they can with what they got.
Yeah.
And they've been short staffed. It's been that
It's
way.
been that way.
So- and
And
I
Rafael
there was a
Ramos
time-
is not over there anymore.
Correct.
I was gonna say
He's
he's
been
not there
gone
anymore.
for a
He's been
while.
gone for a while. So like, and that's no shade to the people who are left behind. I'm sure they are literally doing, but it's only like 12 of them.
Right.
Like, we are a good sized city, and the issues of blight that plague so many areas. Like, you know, I miss even like the youth ambassadors who used to
Right.
clean up the neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
what is going?
What is
like?
going
There's just
on?
again these neighborhood level solutions like don't seem like to be having. I could be like, I will own this, that I have not been to anybody's management team meeting in like 3 years, but I do know that they're happening because the New Haven Independent reports on them.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
I
just
know
feel
they're
like this
happening.
kind of level of like we this is our city and we
Yeah.
love it, and we are always thinking about how we can make it better for everybody else. So
And, you know,
I just feel like that energy doesn't feel as strong anymore.
And what happened to the impression of us being the greatest small city?
Oh, I miss those days.
You know,
I miss
or the
those
world class
days.
city.
Yeah,
you know.
or the model city.
Or the
Like, what are
model
we
city.
modeling right now?
Nothing.
We're not modeling
Mediocrity
a
and dullness.
thing.
That's what
Not
we
a
modeling.
thing.
Yeah,
You know,
so I
some places got some PPE money and put in some sidewalks.
Girl.
So, Christine, do you think Elliker has bigger aspirations?
I'm sure he has bigger aspirations. I mean,
does he want to be governor?
I don't know. I have not heard that. I haven't mentioned at that level yet. But you know, if he's as ambitious as Luke Bronin is ambitious, then you know it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
So-
Luke Brony was like that. Was ambitious.
He's like
Okay. All right. come
Definitely.
through.
he's like that.
The
The way he even handled that bankruptcy, I was like, that man has ambition. Well, he's like, I gotta play this to a T.
Well, you know, he reminds me of Blumenthal in a way, right? If somebody sneezes, there's Bloomy talking about it.
With the
We're gonna
perfect
get-
headshot.
Yes, you know, made sure that he's ready for his, you know, his on-camera shot.
Does Blumenthal want to be governor? No.
No,
I'm
he's
like,
No.
I
How
would want
old
to be
is he?
governor
He's
if I had to
never
leave
run
DC.
for governor.
How old is he?
always want to be a U.S. senator. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, this is good
Attorney
stuff right
General, and then he springboarded.
here. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Does Chris Murphy want to be governor?
Ah.
No, Congress is once you
Okay.
once you reach
Once you
US
use Congress,
Senate.
there's no going back to. Somebody tried to remember when we were on the Vineyard, we were on the ferry, and that woman tried to convince us that who was it? Barbara Lee wants to be mayor of Houston. I just wanted to push her off the ferry.
And I saw Barbara Lee talking about Houston. I think she did.
I mean, she's from there, so of course you got to talk about it.
But I think she is making a
Is
run.
she considering?
I think
Girl,
so.
don't
Which
do
I don't
that.
understand that because I'd be like, girl, you in Congress, you never
You've
have
been
to be
in
in
Congress.
She said you never have to be in Houston. You mean the Houston is underwater because they built below their flood line?
Like I wouldn't want to go run a city. Are you kidding me?
And a
I'm
city
in-
with so many problems, girl, stay in
I'm
Congress.
in Congress. I'm like, ooh, I'm fighting for you, Houston. I'm fighting for you, baby. I'm fighting. But I ain't coming back to Houston. I'm gonna stay right here.
Are there any state legislators who might throw their hats into the gubernatorial ring?
No, not
No?
that I
Okay.
know of. None of them are not that ambitious.
Not Gary Winfield.
See, Babs gonna always
Babs
ask.
gonna start something.
She always gonna start.
Wanna be starting something. Gotta be starting something.
I don't feel like he has, like, I feel like he feels accomplished right now and that he's where he needs to be right now. So I don't see him seeking higher office. He's not a climber either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a man of the people. He's not looking to get any higher than he is at the moment, I don't think.
And nobody out of Fairfield County,
No, nobody out of Fairfield County.
which is
that I-
interesting.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
And Fairfield County is becoming more democratic with everybody who moved from New York to Fairfield County.
Oh, that's
So they're turning it
interesting.
blue.
So Fairfield County is turning blue, which is really interesting because, that's going to be a big part of the state that's going to play a big part in the next election.
So they're pretty much outnumbering the folks who are old money and
Yes.
Republican.
Yep, that's exactly what happened in the last legislative election. Was most of the Republican incumbents who ran, or if there were open seats, they all went to Democrats.
Wow.
That is interesting
Wow.
because that's one of the last places you would consider being or turning blue.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and what's interesting, and I just figured this out today, trying to look at my schedule and figure out what I'm doing, but the John Bailey dinner is being held this year in Stamford, not in Hartford.
Ooh.
Well, that's telling. That's a good omen
I was
right
gonna
there.
say that's
That's a good
saying
omen.
that there is some new money
Yeah.
that needs to
Right
be tapped
at the
into.
Same place, yeah, the
Mhm.
same place the Republicans held their annual fundraiser. The Prescott
Oh. Okay, shots fired. All right. What we got?
Somebody don't know Roger.
Anything from Hamden, Paul? What's going on?
Camden. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
See, Hampton has been such a sleeper that nobody's been thinking about it.
Nobody's thinking about Hamden.
Mhm.
I don't even think Hamden's thinking about Hamden. What you say?
Is that the next town over?
He said,
Stamford.
is
Yeah,
that the
it
next
is
town
the next
over?
town over.
Next
in
town
the,
over.
in the
You
other
know, you know when the
direction.
police sit right there on the line,
Where you're most
Yeah.
likely to get a ticket.
or shot.
Iraq-Iran border.
It's like when you get a ticket or get shot by the Hamden police. Oh, don't mind me, Ham. These are just jokes. Don't pull me over tomorrow.
Don't get mad. Don't get
Don't
mad.
get mad. Don't get mad. It's just jokes, Hamden. Just jokes. Well, it's
Yeah,
been an interesting
Gomes
night.
is still pulling ahead. Yeah, Gomes is still pulling ahead in Bridgeport.
Is he?
But do you,
Oh.
I mean, Christine, do you feel like
that's
it's
the
he could
machine
unseat
thing.
Gannon? Because Gannon's been mayor for 100 years.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just the machine stuff, though. I mean,
Yeah. You
so,
still need those.
That's not the
absentee
absentees.
so. You
What
know
the
how
hell is with
Bridgeport-
this absentee? Like, who the hell's? Well, I mean, I get you leave Bridgeport, but where are these people?
You got a lot of New Yorkers moving into Bridgeport, though.
Oh well, all right.
And it's very interesting because and this is just a sidebar. I know we're in New Haven, but on the East End, properties are now going. The 3-family houses are going well over $500,000. And the East End is not a $500,000 neighborhood at all. And I love you, Bridgeport.
He was like,
Absolutely.
But let's keep it 100.
Yes.
Let's keep it 100.
Gotta keep it 100 about that.
But
Keep it 100.
are those
That's
going to
hilarious.
investors or are they going to
Like
like
people actually buying.
small mom and pops?
Oh,
More
I
than
don't-
once, I've run into people on Metro North, gotten into conversation, and most of them have been people of color who have good jobs in New York, but want to have a home for their families, and they know that they can't afford Yonkers or the Bronx. Bridgeport is not that bad of a
Commute.
hop, skip, and a jump for them to go to work.
Right.
So they're like, okay, I can put myself, my mom, and my auntie all in one house. And you know, my wife makes X, I make X. I can afford $400,000 for a 3-family house because I can't do that in New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Oh my God. Worst thing to happen to housing was to allow women to get a mortgage in 1974. I swear to God. Ever since then, prices have gone up.
All these Golden Girls houses.
Well,
right.
listen, Christine, the way they're trying to roll back women's rights, you might be onto something.
Listen,
You know?
they're like, clearly we made an error.
Yes.
We gonna have to
Send
go
these
to
women
bed.
back into these kitchens with aprons and
Listen.
full bellies.
And wire hangers, apparently.
Yes.
more wire
Oh my god! 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 So I am quite.
Interest rates. I mean, like affordable housing. So is affordable housing as big of an issue in New Haven as it is up
Oh.
here in Hartford?
Oh my
yeah.
god!
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Huge issue.
Oh, yeah.
Considering all the development that the housing development that's going up.
And not going down in
Yeah.
terms of price.
Yeah. You know.
I mean,
Right.
it is really something. I mean, where I live, on one side, they've got these luxury, very tall apartments.
Across the street
390,
from that.
398
Yeah,
of
almost
them.
400, yep. And then across from that, you have the Winchester lofts.
And you also have now whatever is being built
On
in
that
the-
across.
across. Now that I was told initially was going to be elderly housing.
No,
yeah,
it's not
well, they
now.
were
But
going to
it's
move
not
Edith
now,
Johnson,
right?
but they've already redone Edith Johnson. They just
and
had
they're
a
supposed to
breaking for that.
put the little strip mall there since they're moving it from Dixwell. You know, since that's being torn down for Concat, they supposedly are putting a little strip mall there and then the housing above it. And not to mention the corner of Dixwell,
Where are
Shelton,
these people going to
and
park? Because girl, in the way that neighborhood like to fight over parking, girl, I can hear the screams.
And then the church is
now.
developing. Now theirs is low income housing right
there on
in
the
the
corner.
triangle, right?
Yeah,
in the,
at
in
the-
Dixwell. That's what I was
There's a
talking
Joe
about. Dixwell.
Gates
yeah,
lot.
used to be Joe Griggs.
Yes,
The Joe
it used to
Griggs.
be his gas station.
Yeah.
So yes, Christine, in a short way, it is an issue in New Haven. It always has been an issue in New Haven.
Yeah, I remember when
Right.
I moved here before all of these thousands of apartments came online. There was almost a zero vacancy in terms of finding an apartment, like expensive or otherwise. Like I was like Paul, because Paul was like, "I need you to live in the city," and I was like, "Sir, where?" I was like, "Because," and sure enough, he helped me find my roommate, which was a friend of his who was at his shul, who had a room for rent. Because there was no apartments,
They're
and
like, this is
and people would
like
be
San
like,
Francisco.
people would be
Right.
like, "Oh, this apartment's in New Haven. It be in Milford. It be in Hamden." You'd be like, "Girl, you's a liar, is what you are." Because Paul was like, "Don't pick an apartment unless you let me see it, because these people gonna tell you that the apartment is in New Haven and it's not."
Oh my God.
So
It's
now
crazy out there.
it's an affordability issue. There's just no real middle ground for people.
Yeah, because some of these studios, Christina, going $2,000-$3,000,
Yeah, real easy.
Oh yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like
Easily.
boxes with sinks in them.
Yeah, you don't have bathrooms. I've seen ones that don't have bathrooms.
Is there like a shared bathroom?
yes.
So it's like a boarding house, essentially,
hostel.
or a dorm.
Or prison. At least in prison, they'll give you a bathroom in your cell.
It's like you
for
have
God's
a
sake.
real door, but you got a toilet. Well, listen, it's still a far cry. When I first moved to New Haven and I would see some of these pictures of, I was like, why is this toilet in the center of the kitchen? I mean, I was like, that can't be legal. I was like, who approved that? I had never seen such. Just showers in place. She was like, why am I showering? Why am I showering there?
By the front door.
Right.
Like, why
So
is
somebody
there-
knock on your
Walk
door, you're in
in,
the shower.
shower.
You just open the door and be like, come on in. I'll be out the shower in about 10 minutes. Gosh. My goodness.
goodness.
So yeah,
Yes.
it's a reality.
All right.
It is a
So
reality.
nothing is
All right.
surprising you tonight, Christine. Nothing.
Nothing is surprising me tonight. I got to let you ladies go because I have to start editing my,
got a
my
file?
Hartford story here.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a Runin has taken this, so
Wow.
Okay.
as to be expected.
Well,
since he
thank you
was,
for hanging with us because this was fun.
Yeah, this was fun, Christine.
It was.
Thank
It's
you so
always
much.
fun.
And it was so nice to meet you in person.
I know.
I was so
We're gonna hang out
fangirling.
again in person with the Brown.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes, Christine, we gotta get together. You come to New Haven, hang out on the porch. We gonna talk. We could talk the kind of ish that we could talk without benefit of mics.
You know what?
On our
I wanna go
behinds.
back. I want to go back to Lost in New Haven and sit at the Anchor Bar again.
Oh, I know that was such a great space. They had the Lost in New Haven, the space where they had the gala.
Yeah.
They have their old
Anchor stuff.
bar.
Oh,
bar,
wow.
The bar.
The actual, yeah.
That green tufted monstrosity. But it looked cool though, right?
It was cool.
Nice.
It was
No,
cool.
That was totally cool.
Oh, I'm excited to see that space at some point. When
Well,
it's open
thank
to
you
the
so
public.
much. I can't wait to
All right.
read
Yes,
your
thank you.
recap.
Yes,
So.
thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine. This
Yep.
was fun.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good
Good
writing.
night. All right, so I'll be pulling her stuff and reading it tomorrow.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
recap.
Well,
Recap.
I am really bummed that only 7,000 people.
I know.
Liam's going live in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
That's fine. I mean, he
Well,
ran.
yeah.
He should be proud. He ran a good.
And 30% for the first time is not bad.
Listen, people have come away with less.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
true.
17%, 10%.
19%.
Yeah. So
So, that's pretty decent.
I know. Make a run. I just believe nobody should run unopposed.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
I don't care if I really dig my mayor or whatever.
Right.
No one should be, because it sharpens you
Absolutely.
and it makes you hone in on whatever you have done for the city.
Right. It makes you really pull back and hopefully reflect and say, you know what? There's more. Or you reach out to your opponent and say, hey, to your point, like I do think there has to be more, like, we all care about the city. And while we might not see eye to eye on where we think the direction of the city can go, I still want to have influence on that. Like,
Yeah, and
like I
there-
said, I hope Liam keeps at it.
I think there needs to be that engagement. We don't get enough of that when we don't have someone opposed.
Who runs unopposed? Absolutely.
We don't get the engagement. And we need to have that, or else we are feeling like we're feeling, right? That it's lackluster. We're not seeing the ideas. We're not getting, any sort of
I'm just not
influence.
excited about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always excited about this city because I'm excited about this city.
Right.
But we have a mayor who does not excite and does not lead with innovation or original thought. I don't see that. And I don't say that because I know him. I don't know him personally.
Right.
So this is not a personal attack or anything. I'm just from a mayoral leadership stand of view. I'm from this city. I've seen this city. I've seen this city from the days of Frank Loeb.
Right.
And Ben DeLito.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they are the standard, but there was some excitement.
Right.
And John
least something to be mad
DeStefano and Tony Harp, and I don't know what this is.
Well, I think Babs, you hit it on the head though. It all goes back to the conversation we had earlier. And that is, you don't have people leaving that back room and saying, okay, we're doing this in Fairhaven. We're doing this in the Ville. You don't have people coming together and saying, okay, I don't necessarily like you, but this is how we're going to work this out. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have it across the United States anymore.
No more power brokers.
power brokers, whips. We need that, and it's a fine art, and it's a lost art. To get people in the room and have real talk.
Yeah.
Over some,
Brown and cigars.
brown cigars and some pasta and some pizza, whatever the hell it is.
Whatever it is.
That those days are long gone,
And it's really interesting because it's like, what's going to replace that? Because what I would like this moment, even at the national level, as much as people fought, the reason why Joe Biden can say Mitch McConnell is a friend is because they've had to duke it out together. He's like, maybe I abhor this guy's policy, but like at the end of the day, they had an interest in running the country to somewhere. Somewhere that wasn't just in the ground. You know what I'm saying? Because this race to the bottom is
it's exhausting.
The race to the
feels
bottom.
like a
The
bullet
race to the bottom,
train.
right.
Feels like a bullet train to the bottom.
Lord have
So-
mercy. Can we not run this?
And I think about like even the civil rights movement and the time that I've spent in Alabama and just learning about how you had Dixiecrats and folks
Right.
who were like, I absolutely would like segregation to stay in place. I can see that some folks are gonna burn this thing down if it does. So we're gonna have to give a little.
Yeah.
Like people had to come to the table and say, I this is not my preferred, but we
Right.
gotta do something.
We got to do something.
And I think it can in a city like ours where things aren't horrible, I guess. It's easy to be kind of complacent. Like, well, long as the place isn't on fire and nobody's stealing the place blind.
I was going to say,
guess
and there's
it's
no
okay.
corruption. There's no scandal.
There's
right?
no scandal. Like, there's nothing like.
I
like
mean,
there are some.
I
people who
think
upset,
missing
but there's-
money from the Board of Ed, because it
Well,
got
that's a little different.
That's $6 million that somebody
Hijacked. Yeah.
through, virtual means.
Oh God,
Oh yeah, 6 million.
6 million of
that's a lot of money.
And that's a lot of
Hackers.
money
That's a lot.
to
Were
attribute.
were we
to
like
hackers.
ransomed?
No,
no.
Oh,
Money was put in an account and it disappeared.
disappeared, and they still don't know
Abracadabra.
how.
oh my. Yeah, that's
So that's a scandal, but no one seems
But it's like,
to.
whose scandal is it?
Yeah.
Is the question. And
That's it. That's
whose
it.
scandal is it?
Whose
Like,
scandal?
and everybody's-
Ain't nobody owning it.
Yeah, because everybody's like, well, I understand cyber crimes.
Exactly. And
Like
things,
it can happen to the better of us.
and things happen.
Yes,
That's
and
the
no.
attitude right now.
Yeah.
Things happen.
That's why. What?
Child, I don't know. We ain't heard nothing else about it.
I was
The
like, I ain't
only
been
one-
drinking that
I will
much
say
wine.
this: the only one talking about it is Darnell Golson.
Yes.
Darnell's like, I need some answers.
I need some answers.
And I'm gonna write y'all every week until somebody give me some.
Well,
Yeah, how
Darnell,
come
we
ain't
count
nobody
on you,
tell
Darnell.
us?
We count on you.
Obi-Wan Darnell, you are our only hope. It's to the
Because
bottom of
apparently,
this.
like, because if you can do it with 6 million,
Why not 20?
Why not?
And where's the leak? Like, where's the breach?
yes,
Right.
yes, and what are we doing to stop it?
I don't know.
Because I remember not too long ago. I mean, not for nothing, the city of New Haven was a city that somebody could open a YouTube video and shut the whole stuff down. So I hope we're not in that place no more. But it sounds like we're in a place.
We are in a place.
And if it's a place that involves like money leaving the coffers, it's a problem, and we should probably do something.
That's
about
a lot
that.
of money.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot.
Because
lot.
again, if it's 6 million and we can't account for it, and we don't like we're just saying, ooh, cybercrime, but like cybercrime, how? Like at my new job, we take cyber training very seriously because we have proprietary
Right.
information.
right.
I'm not allowed to send an email that looks suspicious, and I take training to understand what a suspicious, because with
looks
the
like.
phishing, like people are
Right.
getting good at sending emails
Right.
that suggest this is from somebody inside your organization, and it is a legitimate email. I'm to the point where somebody says a crazy looking email, I would have to call them and say, hey, did you send me an email about this thing? Because I'm not gonna send this because it's not secure. And if something even looks suspicious, I just send it on the IT. I'll be like, this don't look right.
Well, the rumor is, the undercurrent is that it is inside. So we will see.
Oh.
Listen,
will see.
stranger
Man,
things
these
have
people-
happened.
$6 million?
Well, listen, I'm not gonna like 6 million is a lot. That lady who stole that money,
Huh?
Elika on in 10.
All right.
Okay.
But
What you want, Betty? What you think you're gonna say, Paul?
Come give us some.
I realized all my mistakes. I'm gonna learn how to be.
I'm gonna be better.
So that's not gonna happen.
Alms for the poor. Oh, yeah.
What I said about that $6 million, that ain't gonna never be worse than that woman who stole all that money from Yale. That lady was living lavish
For years.
for
And it was like a 20-year kind of thing.
Girl,
She couldn't even serve that time back. Did she even go to jail? Did she die?
she wasn't a very old woman,
She
so
might still be in jail then.
but
I
she
don't remember, but I remember
Woo.
when they found that out, and everybody
I was like,
For
how?
years.
"How?"
I think it was like 20 million.
Yeah, it was
It was like
a
some
lot of money.
ridiculous amount of money.
Maybe she
Oh,
got
it
the
was like
$6 million.
lottery money.
Maybe she got the $6 million, y'all.
Because you itchy like that.
And apparently, your detection game is unbeatable. Okay, you got skills like
She
the
got,
FBI. should
as
be
they say,
done.
mad skills.
mad
She
skills.
got mad skills.
Mad skills.
Like, okay, girl.
So,
Because if you
y'all
could
be
live
careful out there.
that good for a long
Robert
time,
McCormick is headed to the bar for the party. Gomes is leading Ganem in Bridgeport.
I think that's from a while ago, though.
Oh, okay.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was a while ago.
Okay.
I am curious as what the update is on Bridgeport and if Gomes is still leading.
Listen.
That
It's gonna
would
come down
be-
to those absentee
Listen,
ballots, though. I think.
Christine Bartlett Josie is working her butt off. in
Oh,
it.
you know she
And
is.
she's a king maker.
Yes, she is.
So if anybody
That is
wants
what
to
she
be mayor in
does.
New Haven, I would suggest.
Starting live Facebook.
Okay.
Conversation. Oh, there's
Okay.
Will we be able to see it?
Ooh.
Oh.
57.5%.
But that's 28% of votes in,
But
though.
if John Ganem, I mean, isn't
If
it
Gomes.
Joseph.
Joseph Ganem can't be mayor and he can't practice law, what are you gonna do? Get a job at Home Depot? What?
marry him a rich wife from Tinder.
Well, you know, his family has a law firm.
Yeah.
So
Get
I-
him and
you
get
know,
him
you
and
can-
get
Could he
him.
still be a paralegal or something?
I was
Well,
going to
he
say,
can
he could
staple
clerk.
staple some papers.
Obviously, this is not the results that we were hoping for tonight,
Yeah.
but it has been a great night, a great election, a great few months, and all the work that all of you have done has really made a difference in the city, and I can't thank you all enough, but I am going to thank a few people right now, because I think it's really important. And first of all, although Connell Julie, I do thank you, and you're wonderful, I want to start by thanking, can y'all not hear me? Come in, because I don't have much of a voice anymore. Come on in. All right, sorry. All right, I want to start by thanking the amazing, fantastic, wonderful Rebecca Bournet. If I say too much, I might start to get, clamped here. So she is the best partner in life I could ever have. The best mother to these wonderful 4 children. I'm so lucky to have her. She's a fierce advocate for justice and really got into the campaign at the end despite what she really expected. And I just love her so much and thank you so much. And our amazing, wonderful, fantastic 4 children, Kieran, Eamon, Eliza Maeve, and Dermot. Dermot is taking a bow now. We put up with all the craziness, and we're so supportive and wonderful. Thank you. My parents who are not here tonight, but some of you saw them. My mom was out at Ward 14 today. They really helped out in really tough times, and I very much. To Michael Morris, our field organizer. So I know when we were petitioning, so many people were like, oh, Michael's calling me, I gotta get my petitions in. He's an amazing, amazing organizer. Thank you so much, Michael. We were so lucky to have him. Tom Gorslek, who has been my friend for most of my life now, which is one of the most amazing things to say, who helped conceive, put this whole thing together from day one. I feel so lucky to be able to have done this with you and have our friendship extend into this whole experience. And for you to be here tonight. To Sapta Kalyur, our campaign manager, our data fiend, who was phenomenal. He was great, and I really appreciate him. And to Abdul Usmanu. had to spend so much time with one person. I am so lucky I got to spend this time with Abdul. He's the most delightful person in the world. He is phenomenal. He is a great advocate for justice, for his district, for his city, for people in general. People would reach out to me and say, hey, this guy knocked on my door. Abdul, I love him. Your campaign is so awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I was a fan from far away for a long time, and I'm so glad we got to work on this and engage on this endeavor.
Abdul won his race today.
And to our amazing volunteers, there are so many fantastic volunteers, particularly our petitioners, because y'all know how important petitioning was and how that made this race. You all did an amazing job. I can't thank all of you by name. I am going to take a moment to thank a few of you, to Janice Underwood, as we were mentioning before, and Jim Owen, who were petitioning Fiends and got so many signatures that were all valid. Thank you all so much. To Kiko Wong, I don't know if he's here, which is crazy, who is the most clutchest of clutch players, who did everything from top to bottom on this campaign. Kiko's right there! Well, you'll have to tell him when he gets in. We'll give him a shout out when he gets in, although the drawers are closed, so somebody maybe wants to. To everyone who hosted fundraisers, had lawn signs, had events, to our core team, Crystal Gooding, Kim Hart, Will Vitamin, Paul Bryant, and Jennifer Quay Hudson, to Bruni Pizarro, who they were always there when I needed them, Daniel Pizarro, who designed our lawn signs, designed our logo, and did so much more. It was here somewhere back there. Carrie Ellington, who forced me to make those social media videos that y'all like so much. To Mercy Quay, who's designed smarts and messaging and wise counsel, informed so much of what we did. And to Ben Berkowitz, come on, where are you? Who have been agitating for this for years, and who went above and beyond to make sure we ran the best campaign possible. This man was relentless, he was passionate, and I couldn't appreciate you more. Thank you so much. And thank all of you all so much, and to Justin Elliker, who ran a fantastic campaign. I called him a few moments ago, congratulated him on a race well run. I'm wishing him the best for the next administration coming forward. And his service to the city has been phenomenal, and his willingness to put himself out there. I really appreciate that, and we all should be appreciative of people who are willing to do this and really be there to support anyone going forward in the future. And so here we are. What? Oh yeah.
Hey, Kiko.
And there you are, Kiko. You missed it, man. So, as I was saying before, tonight are not the results we hoped for. It's not what we were expecting. But what I want to say to you all is that we ran a fantastic race. And we put forward issues that no one was talking about before. And we made the city try to imagine better and to envision a better future for our residents and for this city going forward. Winning office was always just a means to an end. It's a way to enact the change we want. But it is not the end.
It's like we're happy to have Liam's support.
Here in the United States today, our whole system of government is creaky and old. Our today's politics, from our city government to our Congress, is not meeting the needs of our citizens. Our institutions have calcified. Our economic system is slanted to the owners of capital. Our political system is tilted towards insiders. The two parties that we have offer few real alternatives too many times. Higher education has become a perpetuator of privilege. Our prison population in the land of the free is busting at the seams. And the commodification of housing has caused the costs to skyrocket. The very earth that we are sitting on is convulsing every day. We can give up and we can complain. We can throw in our hat and we can do nothing about this. or we can choose to adapt. We can choose to try to do something better. And that is what all of you did over these last few months. That is what we have tried to do with this campaign. We chose to do something about it. We launched the campaign to ask the city to imagine better, to envision a more just, more effective future, a more responsive city government. It isn't lost upon me that I ask all y'all and this whole city to believe in local government in the age when one of our top contenders for president is facing 4 indictments for corruption, when the faith in our institutions has been lost. But despite all that we have been through as a society, all the serious flaws in our political system and our constitutional system, and despite all the setbacks that we have faced over years and generations fighting for justice, fighting for a better society, the promise of self-government is still our best hope. And self-government starts at the local level. Local government is the government that touches our lives most closely. It is the one that really can make the biggest difference in our day-to-day. And each one of you getting involved in this process, believing in this process, working to make something better and choose something better helps move us forward. We need our institutions to innovate if they are to meet the needs of our residents. We know that there is a public thirst for change out there, and your response and the response of everyone around the city, on the doors, that random guy who wanted to take a picture out there tonight, shows us that there is a desire for a change.
New Haven and for our team. First of all, I want to echo the words of Vinny about Liam. Liam called me not too long ago and congratulated me on our victory here today. And grateful that Liam threw his hat in this race and ran a spirited campaign, and we talked about working together in the future to help serve our city and improve our city. So thank you to Liam Brennan. Also, an incredible day for so many alders across the city. There was a lot of contested alder races, and I want to congratulate Alder Morrison, Alder Punzo, Alder Punzo, Alder Marchand, we've got y'all over there. Alder Nicola, who looks like he's going to sneak it out with a very hard-fought campaign. And newly elected, well, not quite, we've still got November, but I think she's got it in the bag. Welcome to the team, Brittany Nyblack. Almost on the election, Nyblack. And a shout out to Ernie Santiago, Alder Santiago, who's been on the board for many, many years and put his heart and soul into Fairhaven and serving his ward. Congratulations to Ernie for really working hard over so many years. We look forward to partnering with you in the future. And I also wanted to congratulate Frank Redente, who really knocked on a lot of doors. We are looking forward to working with you in the future, Frank. Also, while they weren't on the ballot, and Audrey knows I feel some kind of way about this, that how she's not on the ballot, but I am. But Michael Smart and Andre Downer, let's be clear, we have an incredible Democratic ticket going into this November election. So I got a number of people I want to thank. First of all, a huge, huge shout out to Shad and Belize, who have been the champions of our campaign, oftentimes working behind the scenes, but doing so much work. Police, I get emails at like 1:30 a.m. They have been working nonstop around the clock to politics and get this thing across the finish line and help us really crush it. There are so many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that donated to this campaign, and that is so important, whether someone donated $445 or whether someone donated $5. The fact that so many people participated with their own treasure to help support this campaign get across the finish line. We are so grateful to you. Vinnie Morrow, you were there when I filed. You are there tonight. You will be there in November. Deeply appreciate all your support. A round of applause for Vinnie Morrow. United here. And you hear me live in Local 34, 35, so many of you helped us crush it tonight, knocking on doors, advising this campaign, supporting this campaign. So many people across the city, truly, truly grateful, not only for your support, but more importantly, every day as we govern this city, your partnership. Thank you for everything you do for our city. We also got the support of the Carpenters Union, the Public Works Union. Appreciate that Mr. Cannon's here from the fire. Thank you so much. President Walker Myers, is she here? President Walker Myers, every day we work together, you push me. I don't push you that hard, but you push me. You push me. Grateful for your partnership. So happy and honored that you come out and supported my opportunity to be reelected. Thank you so much, President Walker Myers, and all of the Board of Alders. There's so many alders that have been helping so much throughout the city in your partnership. Marty Mooney and Al Palillo, Governor Lamont, Lieutenant Governor Bicewitz, Eric Russell, deeply appreciate you being here. Charles Stanley, William Tong, and many, many other people. But before I finish my remarks, I want to thank my family. I got my mom and dad who were pollstering me today, Ward 17, Ward 10, Ward 25. They were out there. Mom and dad really appreciate everything that you've done for me. And my wife, Natalie, my daughters, Molly and April. This job is not easy. This job is not easy. And Natalie, I love you so much. I feel very blessed to have you supporting me every day and supporting our family. I'm sorry that I'm mayor. But this is a partnership. We are a team. And thank you so much for everything you do to support our city. So I want to underscore this is something, I've said this many times. These things you cannot do alone. And let's be clear that today, this wasn't just a victory, but we got Vinnie. We didn't get 70%. We got over 70% of Democrats that voted today supporting this campaign. Over 70%. That is a huge, huge feat. 30 wards. We won every single ward by a large, large margin. More than double. We do not do that alone. We do that by knocking on doors together. We do that by making calls together. We do that by advocating together. Can I hear you? We do that together. And we do these things together. And people say, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? It should be easy to get these things done. It is not easy to confront these challenges. We can only persevere if we do so together. And because we have worked, not just today, but for the past 4 years together, we have accomplished so much. We have persevered. We should be proud in New Haven about how we have persevered throughout COVID. So many other communities just imploded. They couldn't make decisions. They couldn't focus on, in particular, the most vulnerable. But we should be proud that we persevered through COVID and came out better on the other side. And we did that together. We have re-envisioned how public safety is done in the city of New Haven. We have created the Elm City Compass, where the right people with the right skills at the right time show up to help people that are struggling, our most vulnerable people, whether it's someone that is struggling with a mental health challenge, whether it's someone that is struggling with homelessness. Elm City Compass comes instead of the police. We have created that program together. We have created over 900 new and renovated units of affordable housing. We've got over 900 in the pipeline. We have done that together. We have invested more than any other city in the state of Connecticut, tens of millions of dollars partnership.
Well,
We back.
What
We're
happened
back.
in Bridgeport?
Yeah. You got any Bridgeport numbers?
I feel like that's what the news is.
That's more interesting. Can we just say for the record, you didn't get 70% of the vote. You got 70% of the people who voted.
Note the difference, everyone. That is
Not trying to rain on nobody's parade.
We just want
But
accuracy.
let's
Also, it
just...
would have sucked to be an incumbent and get beat when only 7,000 people showed up to vote. Sorry. That'd have been messy.
7,000 people.
Also, y'all better come out and vote. What are y'all doing?
Trying to find out how many registered Democrats there are.
There are a ton. Because
There's a ton.
I can always remember the Republican number is something like 2,500 or 3,000 because it's so small, comparatively speaking.
A Republican ain't won since Celentano. And they got a school named after him, okay?
I mean, he deserved. Apparently he deserved.
And they still got a funeral home in town.
But again, like I can remember that number because it's so comparatively small. I can't ever remember the Democrats' number because it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that like people didn't turn out is like, even if I know if I'm the mayor and I'm in the majority party, I would hope that everybody would come out and vote for me. Like, not again, to your point, not to like knock anybody's or harsh anybody's win. Congratulations to that man. But
he worked
a
hard.
7,000 voter turnout is abysmal. Now I get it. A win is a win.
When is it? Hey.
But dang, that's
Okay, in
awful.
Bridgeport.
Well, they're still stuck
That's
at
still
28%
28% of the vote.
reported.
Okay.
Like,
Good
I
point.
just-
70% of the people voted. I occasionally I make a good point. I mean, occasionally
when you're not talking trash. And
when I'm
getting
not
caught.
talking trash, I said what I said though.
But that is a painful. That's painful.
Yeah, I think we need to, again, to our point, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
We need a whip. We need somebody who can galvanize Democrats and excite them.
Well, you know,
'Cause
I
not
think
for nothing. I don't think the turnout in the general election is going to be any better.
No, it's gonna
Even
be
with
it's gonna be
independents.
less.
It's
Because
not
who's
gonna be
running
better.
against Elliger in the general?
Tom,
who?
what's his name?
Goldenberg. Rod.
You might get those. You said Goldenrod. Ma'am.
Goldenberg.
I always want to
Goldenberg.
call him Goldberg.
Tom Golden. I do
It's
too.
Goldenberg.
It's Goldenberg.
Yeah, so.
And petition candidates Wendy Hamilton and
Now, he
maybe
Listen.
Macy Torres.
Who?
Listen, can he convince those independents to come out and vote? I don't know.
Well, that's going to be the difference.
Tom?
Either one of them. Shoot. Because that's, that really is, even though, like, the anticipation, of course, is that.
Well,
Justin Elliker is
Elliker
our
has
next mayor.
then he's gonna have to win in November because I could not abide a Republican mayor in this city.
Well, you know what? I think, and this is going way back.
And
in my
Elliker is
middle,
as close to Republican as I want to be.
But Chris DePino could have been mayor, and he was a Republican, but he was a progressive Republican
Well, yeah.
who really worked
He actually
with.
liked
They-
people
and
and want to help people.
I'm sure a lot of the progressive
All the
Republicans went
Republicans I
out
know,
with
they
the
don't want you to do.
dinosaurs.
And all the Republicans I know, they want you in the back of the bus. They don't want you to talk. They don't want you.
and going further back than that.
Can you be cleaner homeless? Can you?
Can we just arrest homeless people?
Can we-
Like,
Can we put them somewhere where we
like
don't
y'all don't
see
want to
them?
house homeless people unless they in jail? I don't understand. Either way, you're paying for it. Sorry, rant.
And going all the way back to Roby Pooley, who was yeah.
I don't even think I've ever heard that name
And
before.
she was a woman who was an alder and raised sand and worked with folk, And so when you start to talk about New Haven and who we are as the so-called greatest city in America or world-class city,
Yeah.
if you're gonna have a Republican, then they need to be somebody that is progressive. A conservative
gonna
Republican is not gonna work in this city, and they ain't gonna be
Oh
elected.
God, are you
Do they
kidding me?
even exist in their own party anymore?
No.
Like, we are talking about a dinosaur.
These people are so. Listen. these Republicans haven't had a come to Jesus moment. They're gonna have to have one because they're gonna let Trump lead them to hell.
And we're going to, on the national stage, have to arrest a sitting president and put him in prison.
He already has led them.
I need Ava DuVernay to create a show.
Or somebody should just turn on the camera because apparently we're all on a reality television show.
Are.
It is.
Well, listen, you elect a reality
it's
TV
deeper
show
than
host, you get a reality TV show.
And all these Republicans. Thank you, Iman. I appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you.
And it's deeper than The Apprentice.
Oh God!
And I used to like
that was
we
the
all
first
did.
4 years. That was
We all
the
did. Right. We all did.
You're fired.
And I mean, every week it was somebody new.
Like we like that little 2-bit show.
Listen,
You know, and it's interesting
stayed a 2-bit
because
show.
Yeah.
somebody on the interwebs said,
Beyonce's internet.
well, it's funny how y'all, meaning black folk, can support The Apprentice, but now that he's here in real life, you don't want to support him.
Girl, we didn't support Ronald Reagan either. He used to be on TV too.
But there was,
And in movies.
But then there was somebody who said, "But sir, he wasn't running the country, nor
was
was
just
he trying
running
to rip up the Constitution."
He wasn't even running his own raggedy company.
Right. Right.
He wasn't even running his own
wasn't
raggedy
running his
company. That
company.
wasn't even Trump Inc. right there.
Listen, when people, this is how I knew we had turned a corner. When he was doing all that, talking about grab him by the
Yes.
and people were like, "That's just loose locker room talk." And I was
I'm sorry, do
like,
you want
he's
your
just-
president engaged in loose locker room talk?
Oh, he's just talking like your uncle. What uncle?
My uncle is not president.
And this ain't a private conversation.
Do you see where they buried Ivana Trump?
Yes.
On the golf course somewhere?
Girl, have
on
you
his
seen
golf
it?
course?
It's overgrown. They ain't go.
They killed that lady. I'm sorry. They put a hit on her to like distract from what was going on. They had her.
First
her
of all,
86.
I'm like, girl, why in your
Markeisha.
last wishes did you have these mofos?
decide where you
You
end
ain't got no
up.
kid, no girlfriends who have been
Nothing.
like.
And clearly no kids who care about you at all. That's a
it's
shame.
like they turned on her. I'm like, y'all got birth to this woman.
They ain't turned on her. They was like, you said you take one for the team.
Yep.
No
And-
matter what.
And you know what?
The New York Post went there and took pictures of the.
The New York Post would.
They were like, "This is
There
where-"
is
But
no
nobody
pettier
wants to be-
publication in America. Than
But
the
nobody
New York
wants to
Post.
be counted out of the will.
Listen,
Everybody thinks they're going to get something.
he ain't got no money. They like his campaign finance thing is all jack. Like he didn't have any money.
He doesn't have any money.
He out here fundraising for his legal fee. And he's
Yes.
fundraising
And
for
people
Rudy
are-
Giuliani.
And people
Girl, I am
are
wait,
sending
but
him money.
But where's that lone brother?
Still sitting at jail.
Sitting in jail.
Just like Miss Sophia sitting at jail.
Sitting in
Sitting at jail.
I was like, you thought you was
Sitting at
one
jail
of
all
them,
day about to rock.
and at the end of the day, they're gonna show you.
They showed you who
not
you
one
were.
of us, baby.
But it is so interesting to me how many people were like, we gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off, and then
And
they
we
gotta
gonna
show
show
up
and
at
they
court and
did.
say, guess what? I can't afford an attorney. And I'd be like, Law and Order, if you cannot afford an attorney, attorney will be appointed to you. Oh gosh. Whew. Oh goodness.
oh, Harry Drost allegedly. What's the
Yes.
allegedly part?
Yes, Harry.
Oh. But what he did get convicted of is sexual assault, right?
And he also lost his defamation case, like when the lady kept saying I was
Yes.
sexually assaulted. They was
Yes.
like, boy, if you don't leave us alone. He's like, leave us
And
alone.
he got right her a mighty fine check.
Yes,
Show
he
do.
does. Yes, he
Show
does.
do.
Where is Melania? Melania's like,
I
listen,
don't want any
I got
parts
a-
of this foolishness.
Melania's like, I got a tight ass prenup.
I saw a story that said like they don't even basically live together no more. She's
She's
still
like,
in New York.
I'm in New
and
York.
he's in Mar-a-Lago.
This is like
Or-
Green Acres for real.
Or I'm in Mar-a-Lago.
She's like, me and Barron are gonna be just fine.
Yeah, or I'm in Mar-a-Lago and you in New York. Either way, we are
She's
not
like, either
going to
way,
be in the
guess why
same
I'm
place.
not on the campaign trail or at the courthouse.
Either or.
Now get your raggedy kids to come sit up down to the courthouse. I don't have anything to say. Sis is unbothered. And honestly, I don't blame her, because if somebody starts sniffing around too hard, they be like, Malak, how you sleep with somebody and don't? She's like, I don't sleep with him. And don't know what foolishness he's involved in. It's like, I don't sleep with him. What are you talking about? I married him and I had a baby. I did my part.
That's what I
That's
signed
the
up
only
for.
requirements of a rich woman.
Right.
That's what I signed
That's
up
what
for.
I signed up
That's what I
for,
signed up
and
for.
that is what I am doing.
And that's it.
I say the things and I go back to New York.
When that homegirl put them ugly ass Christmas trees up in the White House that Christmas,
Sis was like, y'all need to know
I
what
was
time
like,
it is.
Is that a cry for help? Like what?
No,
Does somebody
she was
need to
like,
go in there and
this
rescue her, break her out.
is the den of iniquity.
It's like, I'm sad, and everybody in America is gonna know
be
it.
sad.
I don't even think she was sad. She was like, I'm mad and I don't want to be here. So I'm gonna like,
I'm a rip
I'ma
out the
I'ma
rose
rip out
garden.
the rose garden.
I
The
got that out the way.
audacity.
I'm gonna put these ugly Christmas trees.
They weren't even Christmas trees
I
for real.
didn't know
That
that.
was just, ugh.
And then
girl.
with a jacket that says, I doesn't care.
I done
Basically.
care, do you? When you going to feed the poor, I was like, girl.
She's like, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
She's like, I just gotta do this.
Yeah.
And then
So,
she
so
was like,
are we wrapping up?
I probably is
I
over.
thought Paul said somebody else was coming.
Nah,
on.
he's not coming.
No.
Oh, okay.
Roger's not coming. You remember Roger from last year? He's not coming.
Oh, okay.
You guys,
So
you
what
guys
if-
want a pot of coffee or something?
No. any last thoughts, ladies, on
Yeah,
these two
listen.
candidates?
This is what I want to say. We have got to we have got to secure our democracy, and voting is the cornerstone of our democracy.
Amen.
And we cannot have a world-class city with 7% of the voters, registered voters, picking leadership. That's unconscionable.
Some of y'all don't even like Democrats enough to let that happen. Like, what are you doing?
You know? So we have got to figure out a way to inspire and folks to sort of see that this is their right, because listen, there are forces working right now to take this right from you.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at this legislation across this country, they are doing it's not even they trying to hide voter disenfranchisement.
Right.
They are literally
Actively
taking
a
it.
boo boo in your face.
Yeah. They're taking it.
And if
And
we
saying, what you gonna do about it?
what you gonna do about it? And we just sitting by the side of the road like, oh no.
Right.
So we have
We've
got
got
to
to
get
stand
inspired. And I'm imploring young people, because I'm 60. My days, I got more days behind me than I do in front of me.
Indeed.
I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna vote. I'm always gonna vote. I need these young people to rise up,
Well, I think,
and they are. But I
They-
need them to be a little faster.
yeah.
That
but
way
I
we rather
think,
just burn it
too,
down.
we need to let folks know how their vote works. I think we tell people, we do a good job in telling people to get out to vote and how to choose a party. But I don't think people understand what your vote does.
I think I'm gonna back that up. I think we do a good job of registering people to
yes,
vote.
absolutely.
Getting
we
them
don't-
to the polls.
We don't do a good job, Michelle, of telling them how their vote works.
Yes, that's what
and
I'm
how to
saying.
get to
And
and
like,
how
for
to build
instance,
alliances.
For instance, and yes, that's very important. For instance, you're voting because this candidate will bring trash pickup.
Mm-hmm.
You're voting because this candidate will put more money in your schools.
And
This
we're
is
not
what it
choosing
stands
based
for.
on the cult of personality.
Right.
Like,
This is not American Idol.
exactly.
No.
You don't have to like the people who are running, but give the folks who are running some credit. You
I
gotta
hear
have,
Elika does a mean gospel girl.
his Spanish is pretty good too. I hear now.
It is.
It is. It's
actually.
very good.
It is. It's very good.
But like it's not. I mean, like it really doesn't have to come down to the person you like the most.
Yeah.
Who's the person who you think might have your best interest at heart?
Yeah.
Like vote for that person.
What is
and then
it-
hold them accountable for voting for having vote for them. And if even if they don't, if the person you didn't vote for doesn't win, so Liam didn't win, so it's still our jobs as citizens of this city, as residents of this city, to hold Mayor Elliker accountable for the
Accountable.
things that we want to see happen in our
Absolutely.
city. Period.
Absolutely. And
Uh,
there may not be things that he is doing that you agree with, but certainly there's something you can find to say, okay, I can get behind that.
Absolutely.
I can support that. And even if you don't, then, as we've already said, not necessarily confront him, but certainly let him know what you expect.
Absolutely.
And ask the question, how are you going to do that? That's all part of citizenry. And we don't teach civics in school anymore. So kids don't even know what it is to vote other than somebody telling them you got to go to a poll and vote.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it is to the point of like what are the things that can happen, because we talk about legislation in other places that are actively disenfranchising people, but Connecticut isn't necessarily a bastion of great voter.
No,
like
because we
don't
don't
have
have
early voting,
Right.
We don't have
so we
early
don't make it
voting.
more convenient for people to vote. We don't incentivize business to say, hey, give your folks a holiday
Right.
so they can vote, or support an early voting process. So there are more things we can do even in Connecticut.
Are you
to-
turning on the music?
Oh, did he put the Oscar music on?
He put the music on, Oscar music. Harry's like the Sandman at the Apollo.
Goodness.
Get your ass off the stage.
Well, that's all I'm gonna say then. I
Well,
ain't got the
another
thing
good
on, so I
year,
can't hear the
ladies.
music.
Like,
we'll be
like
back
Joe
in November.
Biden
We'll see
said,
you
I'm
in
going
November.
to bed. I'm
see you
going
in
to
I
bed.
don't think there's any more in there unless you want some more of this.
Nope. That's
Oh.
empty.
That's
So
empty.
thank you, Harry. Thank you,
Harry.
Paul.
Thank you,
Tom.
Harry.
Good luck in
Thank you,
Bridgeport.
Paul.
We're
Thank
gonna
you,
know
Tom.
in the morning. We'll know in the morning
We'll know
about
in the morning
Bridgeport.
whether.
Thank you for all the folks who tuned in and listened to our
Yep,
foolishness.
and gave commentary.
And
Thank
gave
y'all.
commentary. Thank you, Iman, David Sepulveda, McCormick, and all the cool people out there. We appreciate
Yeah.
you.
We
We'll be back.
appreciate you.
We'll be back for
We'll
the
be back.
for the November election.
See y'all in
Yeah.
November.
You know, we gotta get a good drinking game though.
Drinking red and talking junk.
We should have like a bingo.
Bow down, bring it to his feet. Move.